Well, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and last night the fat lady was not singing as South Carolina, resilient Diesel, getting it done. I absolutely missed it because I was doing some work last night getting ready for the Burns broadcast Friday. I was watching the game. South Carolina was down 4-1. My phone rang, and I believe I muted the TV and never looked back up until a buddy of mine told me, "Did you see that walk-off? Did you see what happened?" I missed it. I was not watching the end, but South Carolina comes back victorious. Here is what it sounded like in case you missed it last night.
Ball four, and a walk. The outfield very shallow. And that ball is poked down the line, and it is a fair ball. Tease gives chase. Steele is in, and it's a long single. Gerard hits one to center. This sends the center fielder back. Larson can't get it. Now Bennett is scored, and the brakes are on at second and third. We're in the bottom of the seventh, 3-2. Oh, that's high to load him up. 3-2. Ball four, and it's 6-4 with nobody out. Ball four. It's 6-5 on a walk. That one is to right, and it is past the right fielder, diving Layfeld. One is in. Here comes the winning run. Andrew Bogan does it. South Carolina shocks South Dakota, and they win it 7-6.
Pure jubilation, Diesel. It's not over until it's over in South Carolina. What a comeback last night. Congratulations to Irmo. It's not over until it's over. That's where we start the show today.
How about that? And especially because they were put into the losers bracket by virtue of a walk-off against, who was it, the Las Vegas, Nevada team. And, an awesome job by that team to come back, that resilience there to not give up when it looked like, you're down, what did you say, 4-1?
Yeah, 1 point.
It seemed like, man, this game is over and you're not going to stand a chance to come back in this one. What a fantastic ball game.
JB on the YouTube stream says, I watched the whole game last night. Glad I did. It was awesome. So many Tolos already in the comment section on the stream. The reaction on Twitter from people across the country last night. Again, Diesel, it's just it's the Little League World Series, right? And let's be honest, there would be people watching from South Carolina if South Carolina weren't in the Little League World Series, but it wouldn't be the involvement that it is now. And for as many people last night that were watching that game and the reaction on Twitter, we care all of a sudden because why? It involves us. So there's your lesson for the day. A sport that may typically never really draw the interest. Diesel, guess what? Last night it drew the interest. The reaction and the effort last night from South Carolina was spectacular. Tolos, did you watch last night? Let us know. Welcome into Wire to Wire. He is Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. What a game last night.
And the best part is now they get to run it back against the team that put them in the losers bracket. Yeah. Again, you go back to that Monday afternoon game. Irmo outplayed him. 5 hits to 2 hits, and Las Vegas just got that necessary hit when it really mattered, and they will play first pitch at 7 o'clock tonight. This one, winner of this game, goes to the finals to face either Santa Cruz, Aruba, or Venezuela.
Yeah, absolutely, and best of luck to them. Let's see if the guys can get a little, or maybe it's not the guys, maybe the guys is a little too old of a phrase to use. The boys, the kids can get a little revenge tonight against Las Vegas. So good luck to them. Tolos, let us know if you watched the game last night at 844-326-3663. We already have text coming in because the show is live, Diesel. It's show hours, and the Upset Picks Challenge brought to you by Ingles Markets is open. Shout out to JB on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line. The first text of the day getting his upset pick in.
That's right, Tolos. Go to ESPN.com. Click on that NCAA football tab. Easiest way I've found so far is then to click on the schedule tab. Look for the games that are being played on Saturday. Those are the quote unquote week 0 games. It's Iowa State, Kansas State, Idaho State versus UNLV, Fresno State versus Kansas, Sam Houston versus Western Kentucky, and Stanford versus Hawaii. Those are the only 5 games that you can pick here in this week 0. And then week 1 in earnest starts with next Thursday's games. Been doing my best to help out some of the Tolos who are sending in incorrect picks. I get it. There's a lot of new people playing the game. As a matter of fact, yesterday at one point, Dan told us about half of the entries that were coming in were from Tolos who have never played this game before in the past. So we're trying to help educate you a little bit, get you up to date and up to speed with what exactly it is you need to do. All you have to do is go to ESPN.com, find the list of games that are available for this weekend. As Cole very often points out, make sure you're clicking the All FBS tab, not just the top 25 tab, because you could lose out, especially next week and going forward. You could lose out on a lot of options to choose from. Find a game where you think the betting underdog will win the game outright. That's right. Score the upset outright, and then text us with your name, the game, and the spread.
A big show coming your way today. Tolos 322, one segment from now. We will kick off our States segment. That is States with an apostrophe S, because we are going to rotate guests every week. 2 guests that we have on the show very frequently, with Chapel Fowler, who covers Clemson for the state newspaper, and Jordan Kay, who also is with the same publication. He covers South Carolina. We kick off the States segment today at 3:22 with Chapel Fowler of the state newspaper. Daily Wire is coming up later in the show. We'll dive into the Upset Picks Challenge at 4 o'clock. 4:22, we're going to gauge your thoughts, Tolos, on 3 coaches who want to get back in the game and where their possible landing spots might be. Also, today, 5 o'clock, the TOLO Takeover, your opportunity to take over these airwaves. So set a reminder for that at 5 p.m., Audio Blitz at 5:20, and a little Micah Parsons at the end of the hour. And then to kick off the hour, or the 4th hour of the show, we're going to be joined by Clay Hendricks, the head football coach of the Furman Paladins, beginning our weekly segment with Coach Hendricks. Today, it will be at 6 o'clock. Every week following this week during football season, it'll be at 6:22 p.m. So, Furman fans, if you are a Paladin, make sure you tuned in the very last hour of the show today. You'll hear your ball coach breaking it down. And by the way, Diesel, let's dive into this. The final week of NFL preseason begins tonight. We would like to see what from each team before the season starts, including tonight's game. Just up the road, the home team, Carolina Panthers, are in action, 0-2, going against the Steelers, who are 1-1 in the preseason. Pittsburgh, a 5.5-point favorite up in Charlotte tonight. You excited about that preseason?
No, I'd rather watch Little League World Series than Carolina Panthers.
Agree with you.
I mean, come on. Who's wasting that kind of money to put anything down on a preseason game? Preseason.
Yeah, I'm with you. Again, I don't really get into the preseason much
gamble
either.
On anything.
They will. If there's a line on it, absolutely. Why not, right? So there are 2 games tonight in the NFL, Steelers-Panthers, and then on Prime Video at 8 o'clock, you have the Patriots and the Giants. So here's the deal with me tonight. Diesel, if I get home and I'm able to do so, I think I'm going to watch Panthers-Steelers just to see how long, or if we get any starters at all, right? What the Panthers starters look like. Now, I will tell you this. I know it's preseason, but there's no other football on right now. I'm going to watch Patriots-Giants at 8. And I'll tell you why. I told you a couple days ago, the quarterback room in New York is so intriguing to me. And I actually think that the New England Patriots, under Mike Vrabel in their first year, might have a little bit of momentum to ride going into their first year. So I know it's preseason. It's on Prime Video. Both teams, though, are 2-0 in the preseason. New York tonight's favored by 6.5 points. I'm just fascinated. I'm fascinated. The football side of me is absolutely fascinated, Diesel, with Jackson Dart Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson. Who am I missing? The other quarterback in that room. Oh man, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but the quarterback room in New York right now fascinates me enough to watch the game tonight. Jackson Dart has played a good amount of snaps this preseason. I don't know how much he'll play tonight, but I am excited. Tonight, 2 games that we'll see. Again,
Tommy DeVito?
Tommy DeVito. Yes, thank you. Tommy DeVito was the one that I couldn't think of. I expect Tommy DeVito to get moved to the practice squad. That quarterback room, though, it's just fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I hope we see a lot of these starters get a little more reps under their belt. I mean, I don't know that by week 1, which is September 4th, now that's 2 weeks away, I don't think I want my starter going in with only like 7 or 8 pass attempts. Maybe if you've got a starter that's 10 years into his career, sure. But when you've got a guy like Bryce Young who started slow multiple seasons in a row, I want to see if this guy can get off to the races, right? I don't want him easing into the season. I want him coming in full bore, ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know what Carolina will do tonight in terms of their starters. When you look at Bryce Young, I don't expect there to be much playing time tonight for them. But again, I think that's why, Diesel, I reiterate so much about every team is so different and the situation is so different in terms of what their goal is for the preseason. Take tonight, for example. You've got the Carolina Panthers tonight who know who their quarterback is, right? They know who their running back is. They know who the receivers are going to be. Obviously, they have depth there. But this is when I say that the preseason is different for every single organization, Panthers tonight know what they've got. The Steelers tonight, they know Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback, right? There's no question there. But then you go to that next game, the Giants, Diesel, you're talking about Russell Wilson, who's already earned the starting job. But behind him, Jameis Winston, who at times has been a commodity as a quarterback in the NFL. At times he's been more of an interception commodity.
Liability
at times. And then this young guy, Jackson Dart, who's showing some flash, some really good promise. Tommy DeVito, like I said, I don't expect him to make the roster. But I just look at New York in a division with Dallas, Philadelphia, and Washington. This quarterback room to me is a lot more important than people realize, because I just don't know that Russell Wilson, we all know Russell Wilson's been in the NFL for a very long time, right? Are there games that Russell Wilson can go out there and win in the course of the 2025 season? Sure. But you've got to remember, he's got to play the Cowboys twice, the Commanders twice, and the Eagles twice. What do we expect Russell Wilson to actually be able to do? I believe what you're seeing is a stopgap quarterback in Russell Wilson. Again, I don't know this. Hadn't talked to Brian Daboll, of course, but these are what it looks like you're seeing is maybe the changing of the guard in a year or two. I don't know how long Russell Wilson's there, but Jackson Dart looks like he could be the guy to build around in New York.
Is there any point in your mind, if you're the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, that you're saying, or not the Steelers, the Giants, that you're saying at some point, Russ, at some point, Russ is not going to be the guy for us by the end of the season? Are you willing to give him the starting job all season long? Or are you saying, hey, Russ, I know you used to be great and you had an okay start, but I mean, come on, man, it's week 9 and we're sitting at 4-5, or we're sitting at 3-6, and thanks for the memories, but go hang out with your beautiful wife, and we're going to bring in a rookie quarterback.
It's interesting. I think, Diesel, if Russ stays healthy and can be serviceable enough to keep you in games, I think they stay with Russ all season. However, if Russ, God forbid, gets injured, right, which we don't want to see any player, even though they're in the same division as Mike, you don't want to see anybody get injured. However, we have seen injuries in the past with Drew Bledsoe, with Tony Romo, and different quarterbacks all of a sudden lead to a new era in the same organization with a new quarterback, potentially in Jackson Dart, which kind of then begs the question, Diesel, tailing off of your question is, well, if that's the case, what are you going to do with Jameis Winston? I mean, you're not going to give this guy a shot? Is Jackson Dart as a rookie beating Jameis Winston? Is that your best option? I don't know. I think that's why, to me, this is the most fascinating quarterback room across the league.
What does your heart tell you, Cole, as we've watched Russell Wilson bounce around from team to team? Do you think this is possibly, yes or no, the final season in which Russell Wilson is the full season starter?
I think there's a good shot.
Like, this is it.
I think there's a good shot that could be
last
the case.
ride for Russ. He's 36.
Is he?
He's 36.
Let me see. You know what, man? I would say there's a good shot. I don't know the exact details of his contract in New York. Right now, he's on a 1-year deal. I just looked it up with the New York Giants for 2025. Base salary of $2 million, up to 10.5 in incentives. Yeah, I'd say so, man. You said he's how old? 36?
36.
Yeah, I'd say so. He gets $500,000 for playing 65% of the snaps this season. He gets $1 million for playing 75% of the snaps, and he gets 1.5 for playing 85% of the snaps. So he was released by the Broncos, released by the Steelers. I'd say there's a good possibility, right, that this is it for the – I mean, he's had a great career. He's probably a Hall of Fame quarterback, but at some point, all roads come to an end. And while we all love what Russell Wilson did in his prime with Seattle, Russell Wilson's past his prime, way past it. And it brings up the question, Diesel, of what could Jackson Dart possibly be in the NFL? Could he be a franchise guy to build around that could finally lift this organization? Think about it. The last time this organization was relevant, Diesel, they had an Ole Miss quarterback. Now they've got an Ole Miss quarterback as maybe the backup guy, and maybe that's the changing of the guard we see. I just am so intrigued with Winston being there, Tommy DeVito. I don't know if Jackson Dart will be QB2, but yeah, I'd say to answer your question, I'd say there's a good shot this might be it for Russ.
Well, I'd say as of right now, this is probably the most entertaining quarterback room to be in with Jameis and Tommy DeVito by themselves. Yeah, it's going to be fun to see, Russ. Thanks for the memories.
Yeah.
Good luck. We have to, people want to start the new era sooner and sooner and sooner. And a lot of people want to start at week 1. And I think it's okay to give Jackson Dart. If you believe that Jackson Dart is going to be the guy, let him become the starter circa week 7, 8, 9. Give him lots of time to get, acclimated to game day operations, and then make him your starter by week 9. Russ can be his backup. Jameis is sitting there also. Maybe by the end of the season, you just cut Russ and say, hey, man, it's been fun.
So if he's on a 1-year deal, Diesel, what I think the best possible scenario could be is the Giants be competitive enough to be in games with Russ, but not too competitive, because you want New York to be somewhere next year getting a good draft pick. So I think best case scenario for the future is for them to win like 4 or 5 games this year, really. Under Russ, it'd be very clear and evident that Russ is washed up. Let him retire. Let him walk into the sunset. And then I mean, Jameis Winston's been around a little while now. Maybe he's okay being the backup. I don't know. Maybe it's Dart and DeVito. Who knows? But I think if you're a Giants fan, you're wanting to start to be able to start transitioning to that new life, right?
Yeah.
That new young blood.
It's weird to say we don't want Russell Wilson to go out and win 10 games this year, because then the push will say, well, hey, we got to bring Russ back next year and see what he can do again. So you're just kind of pushing off the inevitable.
Real quick, you've got 4 games tomorrow: Eagles, Jets, Falcons, Cowboys, Vikings, Titans, Bears, Chiefs. I don't know. We'll talk about Micah Parsons later in the show. You've got audio, Diesel, at 5:20, I believe, of Brian Schottenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
Not like breaking news, but it's kind of like telling in terms of what he thinks will happen with Micah Parsons. And then Sunday, a big slate of games on Sunday. The last one, 10 o'clock on NFL Network, Raiders, Cardinals. And after that, it is officially week 1, which means, I don't know if you realize this or not, the NFL preseason is over after this weekend. And Thursday, September the 4th, which is 2 weeks from today, we get Dallas and Philadelphia to open the season. So you won't have any games next weekend, but then the following Thursday, the NFL is officially back, and I can't wait.
Shout out to MD75, who gets in his upset pick. He's taking Fresno plus 13 over Kansas. Joey Bruton gets his in. He's taking Sam Houston plus 10 over Western Kentucky. Keep sending them in, 844-326-3663. We'll get to them throughout the show today. But coming up next, let's talk Clemson football with Chapel Fowler of the State newspaper. That is next on the Fan Upstate. Well, we start this segment about Clemson football by not talking about Clemson football at all. Want to go to Chapel Fowler of the state newspaper. Chapel, something you tweeted about earlier, something you call the Indiana rule, a change coming to the way that the college football playoff committee is going to start weighing wins and losses. When you couple that with something that, I don't know if you get on the ESPN update sent to your phone, just before we started the show 25 minutes ago, ESPN was saying that the SEC is now moving in the direction of 9 conference games. Man, you add those two things together, and it feels like this is it. Like, this is the unofficial start to the Power 4 breakaway, because if you're now limiting out-of-conference games for SEC teams to 3, and you're saying you don't want to play lesser quality, lesser value opponents, this feels like the slow, easy breakaway. Am I right or wrong?
The start of it, maybe. Maybe it takes 5-7 years to get to that point. Like, I think 2030 is a big inflection point for a lot of reasons. That's when the buyout drops in the ACC. We've talked about that, Clemson settlement and everything, and there's some TV contracts up, and maybe that's the time that the quote-unquote Super League happens. But this is definitely part of it. Like you said, it's kind of squeezing out your FCS, your group of 5 schools that obviously benefit a lot financially from those games against a South Carolina, a Clemson. But it doesn't really make sense if you're one of those power conference schools, if this is the new criteria and this is how you're going to be bound by your conference in terms of sheer number of games that you play each year. Those spots fill up quickly. And like in the case of South Carolina, like they've been open about wanting to preserve their Clemson rivalry. On the other side, Clemson has been very proactive about wanting to do the same and finding a way to keep playing that game because it's important to both schools, important to the state. So that one's kind of got to stay. So then what gets cut after that, it immediately goes back down to your Coastal Carolina or Furman or Citadel or something. It is definitely the start of the squeeze out. I don't think it's a huge surprise. I think the SEC has kicked around 9 games for a while now. But not totally surprised to see it happening, even if it might take a while to fully go into effect.
Chapel Fowler, the state newspaper, joining us right here on the Fan Upstate. Chapel, anytime Cade Klubnik, quarterback at Clemson, is given a mic, he's talked about this offseason a good bit, it seems like to me, just how people thought he sucked a season ago, right, before the 2024 season began. When you fast forward and look into your crystal ball, your Magic 8 ball, maybe 5 months from now, 6 months from now, what do you think people will go to now with Cade Klubnik? Because 2 years ago, obviously a little shaky coming into this season. He's the best thing since sliced bread. How do you think Cade Klubnik's legacy will be written in his final season at Clemson?
I think unless things go dramatically wrong this year, he's going to leave very, in high regard. Like, people are going to love this guy. This is definitely from what we've seen of 1 year, one of the great quarterbacks of the Dabo era. I'm not saying he's Taj or Deshaun or Trevor, but some of his stats have gotten up to that point, and he's taken him to a playoff. Where he lands on that list of like top 4 Dabo quarterbacks is going to be determined a lot by what they do this year. But unless, he pulls like a Nico midseason, which isn't going to happen, or if they go like 2-10, like outside of these random crazy instances, like this is going to be a good team. They're going to win a good number of games. They'll probably be in contention for the ACC title, in contention for a playoff spot. Cade's a gamer. He's been very loyal to them and vice versa. It's very much like a good college development story. I think a lot would have to go wrong to change that. But, if things like all click, he's looking at least like a very nice exit and a nice look back on his time at Clemson. And obviously a chance to do something that only 2 other guys have done under Dabo, which is lead them to a national title or even a long playoff run, really, I think would boost him up even more than he is right now. So he's put himself in position to do it. So credit to him.
Chapel, Clemson won 10 games last year, a really good season for that team. But if you start to look at certain elements like the game within the game, they were outscored or at least tied with the number of points scored in the fourth quarter 10 times out of 14 games last year. Georgia, NC State, Florida State, Virginia, Louisville. Now that's a little asterisk, but that was a disastrous game for them. Pitt, Citadel of all teams, scored more points in the fourth quarter than Clemson. South Carolina, SMU, Texas, they tied in the fourth quarter. What's the messaging inside of that team to make this a better second half and particularly fourth quarter team?
Yeah, Cade talked about that earlier this week. I thought it was a good point. Some of those admittedly are a little skewed because they're playing like second and third string guys in that NC State game, Citadel, App State. But at the same time, like you recruit those guys to do a job, and it doesn't look good to be getting like run ragged up and down the field with your second team that's supposed to be giving you depth. So even if that's kind of the asterisk, like it still goes into the stats all the same. Like there's no change in that. I don't know. I think that they just had a number of like lapses. Y'all can probably remember this. Like I think about the Pitt game, the South Carolina game, especially the Pitt game. Like there was just this run of like 7 or 8 or like 9 drives in a row where it was either like punt or turnover over and over again. ACC title against SMU, you're up 21 in the fourth quarter, and you let that lead wither away because of a combination of, first of all, Kevin Jennings playing really well, but not great defense and offense unable to like get a first down and just run out the clock. Those are like the key situational quarters and moments that like decide who wins the championship, who advances in a playoff. So there's definitely work to be done there. They pulled out a number of games, close ones, SMU, Pitt, and then they lost one like South Carolina. And then you get down against Texas and you just can't come back. So it definitely swung both ways for them last year. But I think in general, like fourth quarter improvement is a point of emphasis, and it should be.
Chapel this morning, Good Morning America was at Clemson's Death Valley. In that interview, Dabo Sweeney said, "I'm excited, just like everybody here is excited. This place is electric. It's an amazing environment, and this is what we work all year for. We get 12 days that we know we get to play, and we work all year for those 12 days." He's talking about working all year for this opener, obviously, in the big game coming up against LSU. We've talked a lot about both coaches and both programs, Chapel, and how they perform out of the gate. Do you think there's too much being made about LSU's Brian Kelly, about Clemson and their, the bad performance against Duke 2 years ago on Labor Day, last year against Georgia and Atlanta? Is there too much being made of how these teams start the season in your mind, or no?
The playoff format tells you that a little bit, yes, because either team could lose this game and make the playoff really, really easily. This is one game of 12. There are conference championship auto bids. There's all the stuff we talked about earlier with strength of schedule and everything. Whoever loses this game, I've said this a few times over the summer, like their season's not over. But I think kind of the hype wave that the winner of this game is going to get is really gonna like boost them. Like it's almost worth like 2 wins or something, or 1.5 wins. Like to win that game in that charged up setting, fans drinking beer in the stadium, buying it for the first time, it's gonna be rowdy. So I think like to win that game on that stage, big ABC broadcast, that is going to boost the winner like so high. I think there's valid questions about Clemson in openers, like you mentioned, the last 2. It's 3 of the last 4 when you include the Georgia game in Charlotte, and then the only win in that span is against a Georgia Tech team that essentially had a sitting duck head coach that got fired like 5 weeks into the season, and nobody was surprised in Jeff Collins. Now it's South Carolina. So I don't know, like that's stuff that matters. Conditioning in the first game matters. How you perform in the first game matters. Like it doesn't look good when you're playing Georgia and everybody just looks a little bit faster off the line than you. It kind of looked this way against Duke too. It's just one game and it doesn't end the season, but I think it's like a pretty fair amount of pressure on both teams just because of, what their track record has been in openers recently, and how much just winning the opener, getting to 1-0 can do for a team, which is a lot.
Chapel, I hope that they have overestimated their need for beer vendors and kiosks and places to get them. I've been in stadiums before where it's their first time selling beer, and they're always way short of what they think they need, and you see lines stretching like crazy. You wrote a story about Tyler Venables and the 4 other players on this team that are still around from the COVID season. Did you feel like you needed to call these guys sir when you interviewed them? Did you talk about their 401ks and their real estate deals?
Oh man, no, Tyler was very flattering. When we talked, he was like, "Are you in school?" And I was like, "No, I'm actually older than you," but I appreciate that. I told him I just shaved, so that's probably why. But no, it's a good group of guys. That was something I was interested in doing. I thought about it like 2 years ago almost or something. I was thinking about, eventually there's going to be a year when this kind of funnel of COVID guys is dissipating. And that's like an interesting inflection point in college football for a million reasons. Maybe like 2% of which I was able to touch on in the story. Like that was just such a insane year between everything with COVID. And then, you've got murder George Floyd and like racial reckoning. There's so much going on. Like that is a crazy year from any measure worldwide. And here's the last 5 guys that were part of that from the Clemson's perspective as a player. So it was fun to kind of dive into, why are all 6 of these guys still here? How are they still here? But Venables, I thought, had some really astute points about how there's a lot of commitment to stick around at a place for 6 years. It's not like you're just walking in and chilling and suiting up on game days. That's 6 years of early morning practices and classes and grind. And all those guys have stuck around and done it. I know South Carolina has a few, like Luke Doty comes to mind, the All-Geezer team guys. I think there's jokes to be made about those guys, and they kind of know it's part of the deal. But yeah, definitely a cool group. And, like I'll hat tip anybody who's still kicking it in college football after 6 years. Like that's a lot of work to do that. So yeah, it was fun to chat with Tyler and write about those guys.
Chappell, what have you seen to this point during fall camp that in your mind might settle the minds of Clemson fans when it comes to the running back room? It's funny, both programs and state were having a very similar conversation with the running back room and some questions surrounding it. Clemson's might be a little bit more stable with the depth, but what would you say that you've seen would ease the mind of Clemson fans if that's one of their concerns heading into the LSU game?
I think the easy answer is look at your team's wide receiving group instead and understand that if Adam Randall's not getting it done, you can probably just throw it 10 extra times and you'll be fine. I do think the combination of Randall and Gideon Davidson will be a pretty passable group. I think Jay Haynes is a name that, I forget about sometimes just because he's coming off ACL surgery and still isn't 100%. But like this is a very solid change of pace guy, good kick returner. Like you said, there's a decent number of names there that can maybe get something done. I think you probably lower the expectations a little bit just because between Shipley and Maffa, like you're very spoiled to have that combination of guys for as many years as you did, and to have both those guys stay mostly healthy and really stick it out and carry the rushing attack for like 4 years it was. And now they're both in the NFL. So that doesn't happen all the time. So maybe they won't be as dominant. I do think it'll probably come back to bite them in a game here or there. But I think for the most part, you can get by with your good wide receivers, which hasn't been a thing Clemson has had a lot of in recent years, and now they do. And then just Randall's a veteran guy. We saw against Texas, he can play a little bit. So between him and Davidson, I think they can probably get by, but maybe just not at as elite of a level as it's been in previous years.
At Chappell Fowler works for the state newspaper covering Clemson. Make sure you go give him a follow on Twitter. Any last-minute fine-tuning details that Dabo and Garrett and Tom are still working on, still trying to square away, or do you think most position battles are pretty well fixed?
I'd say they're pretty well fixed. We'll obviously get an idea early next week when they put out their first step chart. Probably a few lingering injuries to monitor, like Walker Parks at right guard. Is he going to be healthy enough to go for the opener? Dabo has said yes. Khalil Barnes, safety, hamstring. A few positions where there might be like an injury question, but for the most part, I mean, this team returns, I think it's 16 of 22 starters. So they're pretty much set at most of their spots. Punter, we'll see what happens at punter. I kind of pressed Dabo on why they didn't decide to take a transfer portal punter earlier this summer, and he totally owned it and said, we like the guys in the room. If it doesn't work out, like, blame me. So they've that's the dice that they've rolled. Apparently, as of last week, it was going okay, but maybe not as well as he wanted it to. He said some quote about, I might just have to roll dice and pray to God or pick a name out of a hat and God will pick the right one. So that's a position of question, safety a little bit, but for the most part, they're set. And that's because of their great retention.
Chappell, as we let you go, one of our Tolos on the YouTube stream asked who your dentist is. He says, man, he has a great smile. So letting you go with a compliment today. How about that?
All right. I love it. Thanks, Drew.
Drubastink. I think it's Drubastink is what he goes by. You never know what you're going to get with our audience, man.
I love it.
Appreciate you as always, Chappell.
Thanks,
yeah,
Chappell.
you too, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Chappell Fowler, the state newspaper in the state's segment this week. Next week, you'll get his cohort. Who's that? Jordan Kay of the state newspaper, who we have on the show from time to time as well. So Chappell and Jordan will rotate, and we're excited to talk to Jordan next week. It's always a lot of fun talking to both of those guys. Our whip around of the sports world happening next. Daily Wire's coming right at you on the Fan Upstate. Well, it's time to look around the sports world at what else is happening out there every single day, except for yesterday, because Shane Beamer, we had him on at 3:45 Diesel, and we totally forgot later in the show to get to our Daily Wires. But this is where we do the latest. What's happening in the sports world, our Daily Wires. Buzz, buzz, buzz. It's a buzz. It's happening right now. Atlanta, Diesel better late than never, I guess, continues in their winning ways. Hey, we've sucked all season, but we're going to win now. They defeated Chicago 1-0 last night. The Braves are off today. The Hub City Spartanburgers fell to the Greenville Drive on Wednesday night, and the series is now even at 1. You said the score, would you say 4-3 earlier or something like that? I know you had it pulled up. I'm not sure if you
Which game? The Spartanburgers game?
Spartanburgers. They fell to the
I did
Drive.
not have it pulled up, but I will.
Game 3 tonight at 6:35 in Spartanburg. I know they lost the game, but I didn't put the score in the Daily Wires. It is the Drive and Burgers are now tied at 1. Final series of the season. This is it. The Burgers need it if they want to own the I-85 rivalry in 2025. So we'll see. We'll see if they can get that done. Again, Game 3 tonight, 6:35 in Spartanburg. This was interesting. A bullet. We found this out because of the Netflix documentary, or not Netflix, but the documentary on the Kansas City Chiefs. A bullet penetrated the glass in the practice facility office of Andy Reid while the Chiefs coach was working alone in the office last season. The Kansas City Star reported Wednesday night Reid was unharmed. Kansas City, Missouri Police Department spokesman Captain Jake McKenna told the Star, according to the report, the shot was fired from outside the Chiefs facility in Kansas City, went through the glass of Reid's office and lodged into a wall about 15 feet from where he was sitting. How wild of a story is that, Diesel?
That's terrifying. Look, if somebody was trying to take a shot at Andy, that's number one. That's really, really scary. Number two, if somebody was just outside of the offices and just pow, 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 and just so happened to land 15 feet away from Andy Reid, that's even crazier.
Makes you just wonder, like, man, what all happens sometimes that we actually don't hear reported, you know? The fact that happened and we didn't hear about it when it happened. Like, how did we not hear about that? That's absolutely mind-boggling. Dallas Wings guard Paige Beckers set a WNBA single-game rookie scoring record with 44 points Wednesday night in Los Angeles, but it wasn't quite enough for the victory as the Sparks guard Kelsey Plum hit a shot just before the buzzer to give LA an 81-80 win at Crypto.com Arena. So you score 44, Diesel, and you look at your teammates and go, hey, thanks for the help. My 44 points weren't enough to get the win tonight. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, in baseball, they'd call that needing a little run support.
Man, you got to feel bad for old Beckers. In New Jersey, trying to bolster one of their weakest positions, the New York Jets acquired defensive tackle Harrison Phillips and Jawan Briggs in separate trades on Wednesday. The Jets traded 2 sixth-round picks to Minnesota for Phillips and a 2027 seventh-round pick, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter, trade pending a physical. So the New York Jets making some last-minute moves. And
are we shocked that the Jets are waiting until the last minute to get things done?
They're in trouble.
It's the Jets.
They're in trouble. Diesel in Santa Clara, California, since signing wide receiver Demarcus Robinson in March, the San Francisco 49ers have been bracing for him to be suspended for the first 3 games of the season, part of a fallout from a misdemeanor DUI charge. The New York Yankees bats are red hot ahead of a key 4-game series against the Boston Red Sox. Juan Carlos Stanton hit a pinch hit, 2-run home run at the top of the 10th. Austin Wells followed with the second homer of the night as the Yankees topped the Rays 6-4 at or in Tampa, Florida on Wednesday night. By the way, that score of the Greenville Drive game was 3-2. Greenville defeated Hub City on yesterday. The New Orleans Saints, Diesel, added to their receiver room ahead of the regular season, acquiring Devon Bell in a trade with the Denver Broncos. The team announced on Wednesday. In return, Denver received a 2026 fourth-round pick and a 2027 seventh-round selection.
Yeah, reshuffling the deck chairs, man.
We'll talk about this more at 5:20 when you have some audio for an audio blitz, Diesel, with the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons do not appear any closer on a contract extension, and they were at the start, or than they were at the start of training camp. But, big but here, Coach Brian Schottenheimer is confident, and I mean very confident, that the Pro Bowl edge rusher will be available for the September 4th season opener against the Phillies.
And here is Brian Schottenheimer.
At the end of the day, we feel like Mike is going to be out there when we can line up against Philadelphia here in 15 days or whatever it is. And, so no, the answer is, I feel good about that. Yeah.
With or without a contract extension?
I feel good that Mike is going to be out there against the Philadelphia Eagles.
And by the way, Diesel, I said against the Phillies. I did not say against the Philadelphia Eagles. My mistake there. Against the Philadelphia Eagles. God. They're not playing the Phillies.
God, you jumped all over Monica McNutt for saying Shedeur Sanders.
I know. How dare I?
Who do you think you are?
Humpy Wheeler, former GM of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, has passed away at the age of 86. A great name and a great man. Among many other promotions, he was instrumental in directing the installation of lights at Charlotte Motor Speedway for nighttime racing, as well as bringing IndyCar events to the CLT. Diesel, we mentioned this in the very first segment of the show, but the SEC executives are reportedly moving closer to adopting a 9-game conference schedule in football. A final decision rests with the SEC 16-school presidents, who are expected to meet soon to discuss the issue.
Add to that, something that I brought up there with Chappell, the fact that now it seems the College Football Playoff Committee is going to start weighting games against good teams, quality opponents, a little bit more than, beating a bad opponent or a mediocre opponent by 40 points. They're going to care more about what you did against those other top 25 teams. So it seems like it's going to make it impossible to skate through with an easy schedule. And at the same time, some teams are going to have to start thinking, do we really want to be playing these G5 and FCS teams that are not helping us at all when it comes to the weighting and the data?
Yeah, and last one, you put this one on here, Diesel. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
Something about a tennis player who's irrelevant because she's almost ranked 600th.
She was at one point the world's 75th ranked tennis player.
Not
that
anymore.
Was a couple of years. Not anymore. This is wild, Cole. This is a professional tennis player who was a top 100 player in the world named Sasha Vickery, who is on OnlyFans, where she charges men $1,000 a pop for dates in events where she's playing in that tournament. She says, quote, "It's the easiest money I've ever made. I'm very open-minded, and I don't care what people think of me."
Evidently not.
Yeah.
Evidently not, right?
I mean, attractive girl, yeah, get it how you live, I guess. Make that money while you can, because tennis ain't working out for her. Not 559th in the world. She's not making any money on the court.
Those are your Daily Wires, Tolos.
Yep, and when we come back, Tolos, I want to play a little game. We've played win-loss. You've called in to ask about your teams. Now I want you, Tolos, to call in at 844-326-3663, and I'll have you go win-loss on your rivals' schedules. 844-FAN phone, call in now. We'll get to that next. So far, about 10 or so of you Tolos have gotten us your upset picks for week 0 on the show today. Thank you to, who do we have so far? We have Kevin Tessier. We have JB, MD75, Joey Bruton, Isaac, and Perk have gotten their votes, their entries in for the Wire to Wire Upset Picks Challenge, brought to you by Ingles. Week 0 games, all games being played this Saturday. You got 5 of them to choose from, and bless their hearts, the folks over there in Vegas have finally decided to give us FCS matchups. I don't know if they're going to do it every single Saturday, but at least in this first weekend, without a whole lot of action. You did?
I put in a phone call.
Yeah, you called a guy. You called a guy named
said,
Joey.
Joey, you got an upset picks challenge. We need another game, Joey.
What are you being such a mook? Do it. Forget about it.
Hey, by the way, you mentioned Kevin. I wanted to shout out Kevin. I met Kevin yesterday for the very first time in person. Great guy, great Tolo. He has been a part of the construction project over at Burns. He's been sending me pictures. I was over there yesterday, and he had on a big blue Michigan shirt, Michigan polo. And I know, man,
one of those.
These a lot of our Ohio State Tolos, I'm sure, love hearing that. But good to meet you yesterday, Kevin, if you're still listening. And y'all did a great job over there, man. Good to meet you.
Yeah, who do you hate most, Kevin? Do you hate Brutus, or do you hate Corey Lynch for getting up the middle of that line and blocking the field goal in September of 2007.
Oh, and by the way, I do want to mention, we mentioned in the very first segment an hour ago about South Carolina walking it off. So if Irma wins tonight, Diesel, they will play Fairfield, Connecticut for the United States Championship on Saturday at 3:30. That comes from Tolo RJ, so appreciate that. And again, best of luck, man. Best of luck to the boys from Irma tonight.
Jeff R. wants to know if his pick counted. Yes, it did, Jeff R. And I appreciate you for bringing it up. He says, did I get it in time? The times are 4 p.m. on Wednesday, because at 3 o'clock, that's when we lock in the spreads. We give people time to go look at it. 4 o'clock, we're off to the races on Wednesday up until 7 o'clock. And then on Thursdays and Fridays, you've got the entirety of the show, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. to get us your upset picks. Again, this week, there's only 5 to choose from. All games that are being played this weekend. Next weekend is when it really gets wild, and you've got any FBS game that's got a line on it that you can pick. Cole, in this segment here, I want to know which of our Tolos are objective, especially when it comes not to their teams, but when it comes to your rivals, your bitter rivals, the teams that you absolutely hate. Are you capable of being objective, or are you just one of those hating ass haters? That's all you can do is hate.
Yeah,
Call in now, an 844 fan phone, 844-326-3663, and we'll get you, not us, you, to go win-loss on your rival's schedule.
Okay.
Can be college, can be NFL. Cole, we'll start with you. How about that? Who would you say? Eagles.
Yeah. I hate of the teams I hate the most, right? That's what you're asking. I hate the Philadelphia Eagles more than anything in the world, and I know one of our Tolos, Eric Hines, is about to text in "Fly Eagles Fly."
Obviously, the Eagles were pretty good last year.
They
had themselves a pretty solid season. So how objective can Cole Bryson be about his bitterest of rivals? Well, this is awkward. Starting out week number 1 at home against your Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, the season opener, not just their opener. The NFL kicks off 2 weeks from tonight. In the link, Dallas, Philadelphia. I'm not going to be, funny. Philadelphia probably wins this game. I'm not going to say it's a blowout, Diesel, but I do like Philadelphia.
So 1-0. How about on the road in week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs for Philly?
This is a crazy opening 2 games for Philadelphia. Like Dallas, your biggest rival, and then you go to the team you beat in the Super Bowl last year. At Kansas City, Diesel.
Yep.
They lost to them in the Super Bowl. I think Mahomes gets them in the regular season. I'm going to go loss there, starting 1-1. Yeah.
Okay. Starting 1-1 for the Eagles. Long season, a lot of time to go. Week 3, Cole, they'll be playing the LA Rams in Philly.
That's a dub.
That's a dub for you. Okay, you got them at 2-1. Week 4, playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Another dub. The Eagles are going to win a lot of games this year.
3-1. Week number 5 against the Denver Broncos.
Sorry, Denver. Probably not gonna be too close. 1 o'clock kick. Yeah, Philadelphia wins this one too.
All right, you got them at 4-1, Cole, through 5 weeks of the season. Again, Tolos 844-326-3663. We'll play the win-loss game with your team's bitterest rival. See how objective you can be. 5-1 going into week 6 on the road at the Giants.
That's a win.
6-1. Here we go. Week 7 at Minnesota.
Win.
7-1. Week 8 against the Giants at home.
Another win.
8-1. Whew, it's a good season for the Eagles. They'd be happy to take this from you, especially
100%.
from a Dallas fan. Week 9, they're on a bye, and we got them again at 8-1 or 7-1, right?
Let's see. New York. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7-1. Right?
7-1 going into the bye in week number 9. Week 10, they'll be on the road at the Packers.
I think the Packers get this one. Sunday night football. I love Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love's for real. Not saying that Philadelphia is not the better team, but they've won 6 in a row, 5 in a row, something like that at that point. I'm going to go Packers in this one.
7-2. Again, you have them with losses on the road at Green Bay, and the other loss you had them was against the Chiefs, right?
Yep.
7-2. Here we go into week 11. Detroit coming to town.
You bounce back, right? You have a tough loss on Sunday night football. You bounce back. It's in Philly. That place is going to be rocking late in the year, right before Thanksgiving. Give me the Eagles there.
8-2. How about that? Then they go on the road to face your Cowboys again.
I think that's a win.
9-2.
Yeah, they beat Dallas twice.
9-2. And then they are at home facing the Bears.
That's a win.
10-2.
Yeah.
On the road at LA.
Win.
11-2.
Yeah.
This is also easier because the Eagles are really good.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really, really good again this year. I really do.
Week 15 against Las Vegas.
That's a win.
12-2. Week 16 against the Commanders on the road.
That is they play Washington 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Look at that. What's their record right now?
You have them at 12-2.
I'm going to go.
Jaden Daniels going to get them?
You would think so, right? Like if they play 2 times in 3 weeks, I'm going to go win. But it's close. Like Philadelphia wins.
13-2.
Walk-off field goal or something like that.
13-2. This stretch is tough, though. Then they go on the road at the Buffalo Bills.
So this is what happens. They win in Washington. They go on the road to Buffalo. They lose in Buffalo. Buffalo gets them. But I will say, this is not, and we haven't done this yet because the NFL season's still a couple of weeks away. We hadn't made our predictions for that. This will not be the last time you see Eagles-Bills in 2025. Oh. Well, I take that back. Technically, yes, 2025 it will be because it's played on December 28th, right? But they beat the Bills, they lose to the Bills in Orchard Park. They lose to the Bills. The Eagles do. So that's their what?
You got them at 13-3 right now.
They lose that game, and then they beat Washington to end the season.
Wow.
So that would be what? What's my win total there?
14-3.
14-3, and then I'll give an early tease. Again, after 14-3, Diesel, they're going to see Buffalo again this season. Okay? They're going to see Buffalo. That's all I'm going to say.
14-3
play Buffalo twice in 2000 or in
with
the,
a
in
rematch
season.
On the way. A little sidecar, a little kicker. So see, there you go. Cole Bryson, objective. I think he deserves. You can put that on your business card. Objective Cole Bryson, 14-3 for the Philadelphia Eagles, the bitterest rival of his Dallas Cowboys. Tolos, you want to be a part of this? Call in 844-326-3663. This is your chance to see how objective you are as a football fan? Or are you just one of them dirty ass haters who can never give your rival any credit?
Yeah, a guy called in and he was talking about what he said he didn't want to go on the air, which was disappointing. But he was saying I believe he wanted to see the Vikings in the Super Bowl. Something he mentioned Fran Tarkenton, and I don't know if he's a Fran fan from way back in the day. I think Guy is an Eagles fan though, so you should be happy. What was that? 14-3.
14-3.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hate them. I can't stand Philadelphia, but they're really good, Diesel, and like they won the Super Bowl, so you would think they might take a step back. But man, what they did a season ago, I mean, they're bringing. Yeah, they lost 2 interior defensive line, or no, I take that back. They lost 2 defensive linemen in free agency, but this team is still stacked.
Interesting. Call in Tolo's 844 fan phone, especially you Eagles fans. Are you going to take that 14-3 from a dirty Cowboys fan?
I guilt tripped Guy, by the way.
Oh,
he called back in. He said, "It's Guy. I'll come on the air." He didn't want to, but I guilt tripped him.
Twist your arm, Guy. Come on, dude. What is that?
What's up, man?
I was calling it, and I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm in a good place. I mean, back to back. The last time I cared about a back to back can be summed up in 2 words: beast mode. So after that, I'm not that worried about it. But I
hand the ball off, right?
I wanted to be between the Vikings and the Bills. I wanted the coin toss to be Jim Kelly and Fran Tarkenton because somebody gets the monkey off their back.
Yeah, could be.
Fascinating.
Look, you mentioned beast mode there. Eagles, with you being an Eagles fan, realistically, we saw we know how difficult it is to go back to back. If Pete Carroll makes a wise decision, they probably do. In your mind, do you see Philly going back to back?
No, and I'm not worried about it. I same as college. When you are with a winning team the year before, the next year is just dessert.
Yeah, but Guy, man, I mean, it'd be cool to be able to say back-to-back Super Bowl champs, though, man. You imagine?
Yes, and it would. I would love. Do they get their rings at the Dallas game? Because
they've already gotten their rings. No, they've already gotten it.
Give it to them again.
Funny.
Give it to them again.
So Guy, are you willing to play along in this game? Can we keep you on the phone for about another 4 minutes?
Yeah, I'm parked.
Okay. Who is maybe you don't consider the Dallas Cowboys your biggest rival. Who is your rival?
No, it's Dallas.
You Dallas. Okay. You want to roll with Dallas?
My roommate was a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Okay.
And I mean, remember, Rutgers is in Giants territory, so I'm an Eagles fan in Giants territory with a Dallas Cowboys fan. I mean,
how about that? Okay, Guy, let's go. Let's start here. Same schedule, same start at your Philadelphia Eagles for the Cowboys to start the season next year.
I was following you guys. I was agreeing with them up to 12-2.
Oh, yep. Wow.
I think they're going to split. I think they're going to split with Washington. I care more about the Giants game because I want to see what Saquon does in both of those games.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
I mean, both Washington and Kansas City have scores to settle. I'm sure Kansas City's going to do something about the blitz potential because they didn't have to blitz them last time. Other than that, I mean, again, it's a ride when your team has won. It's just a good place to be.
Okay. Guy, do you want to pick the Dallas Cowboys schedule with us? Win-loss.
Oh, God, no. I mean,
well, that's the whole point. I thought that's why you called in.
No, I called in to clear up again, Fran Tarkenton, Jim Kelly, coin toss, either the Bills or the Vikings.
How old's Fran Tarkenton now, by the way, Guy?
How old am I?
I'm not answering that.
How long's a piece of string?
Okay.
Nothing? Okay.
All right, go ahead. Ask me what you want.
Okay. So you're going win-loss, Guy, for the Dallas Cowboys schedule. You're picking on behalf of the Dallas Cowboys. So week 1, you're going loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, week 2, Dallas plays at home against the Giants.
Oh, jeez. Win. I mean, can both teams lose?
Okay, next week on the road at Chicago.
Oh.
For Dallas.
Oh, gosh. I like Chicago, but win
for Dallas. Okay, you got them at 2-1.
All right.
How about
okay, but hold on. At some point, I got to say Dak gets hurt.
Ah.
At that point, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. How about at home against the Green Bay Packers for the Cowboys?
And that's when the quarterback gets hurt, so their season changes after that.
Thanks, Guy.
Green Bay wins.
Thanks.
That's
2-2.
All right, then on the road at the Jets.
Oh God. Is that even going to be televised?
God, Guy, I'm about to dump your call. I'm going to dump your call.
I don't think we need to finish this. Guy's a hating ass hater.
He is. I love it.
I'm not a hater, but the Eagles won, and Dallas said the last time that I have 3 kids. My oldest is 28. He has never seen me have problems with the Cowboys.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so do the Cowboys win on the road at the Jets?
Yes.
All right, that's a win. How about next week after that? They're on the road at the Carolina Panthers.
Win.
All right, next week they are back at home against the Commanders.
Okay, if Dak is back, he gets hurt in this game too.
Oh.
So, Washington.
Okay, it's a loss for Dallas. How about on the road at the Broncos?
Oh gosh, I don't know anything about the Broncos. Okay, geez, I know more about the
great
Cowboys
pass rush last year.
Elway. Win for Denver.
Win for Denver. Okay, it's a loss for the Cowboys. Then they go stay at home and they play the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh gosh.
He's having a crisis.
I don't even know who quarterbacks the Cardinals.
Kyler.
He'll game prep with Madden 25. He'll be fine.
Okay, give Dallas that one.
Okay.
Give Dallas.
Bye week. Then they go on the road to play the Las Vegas Raiders.
They lose on the bye week.
What are they going to do against the Raiders?
Boy, they got a pretty decent schedule. I'm going to give the Raiders that one.
All right, loss for Dallas. Then they play your Philadelphia Eagles again.
And the game's in Philly?
The game is in Dallas, this one.
Okay.
Uh-oh, here's where it gets real.
Yeah, Philly. They're gonna,
Back-to-back home games for the Cowboys. Now they're facing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, Kansas City.
All right. Not any easier than the following week on the road at Detroit.
Wow. Detroit.
Oh my God, Cole, he's got you with 4 losses in a row.
The thing about it is I was really following Detroit last year, and then they get to the playoffs, and all of a sudden, where's Detroit? But, okay, go ahead.
All right. At home against the Vikings for the Cowboys.
Okay, see, I want the Vikings going to the Super Bowl, so Vikings.
Okay. How about against the Chargers in Arlington?
Oh, gosh. Dallas.
All right. On the road at Washington. And then to cap off the season on the road at the New York Giants.
Dallas.
All right. You've got them with a grand total of 4, 5, 6, 7 wins. 7-10, says Guy.
Thanks, Guy.
Oh, all right. I mean, I'm sure that'll change, but it's
God.
I mean, you're asking me to judge Dallas. I mean,
I know
it's a lot more difficult than you can imagine.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the phone call.
There you go. Go drink some cold water, cool off, Guy. You'll be fine.
All right, leading off in the very next segment, we're going to hear from a coach that wants to get back into coaching. Diesel, we mentioned this the other day at the very end of the show. So I ask the question, between 3, what's the actual landing spots for these 3 coaches? Where are the landing spots, and who do we think could actually get hired first to coach college football? That's next. Still time to get your upset picks in. We have Clay Hendricks, the head football coach of the Furman Paladins, joining us in about an hour and a half right here on the show to get you Furman Paladin fans ready for the 2025 season. He'll join us in the 6 o'clock hour every Thursday. Also, TOLO Takeover happening 30 minutes from now. We want to hear from you at 844-326-3663. It's your opportunity to take over these very airwaves. But a couple of days ago, Diesel, toward the end of the show, we talked about Coach O, Ed Orgeron, wanting to get back in to coaching. We've also, in the last couple of weeks, talked about John Gruden wanting to coach in the SEC and in college football, and we've had audio from Jimbo Fisher. So within the last month, we've heard Jimbo Fisher on a podcast, John Gruden on a podcast, and now Coach O on a podcast. I don't know why the month of August, before the season kicks off, has all of a sudden become, all right, who wants to get back into coaching? But it has. Here's what Ed Orgeron had to say on Pardon My Take about the possibility of him making a return.
So you do want to get back into coaching football?
You know what?
Time?
Yeah, I think it's time. I'm feeling a little bit. I haven't made the decision totally, but, I got my boys settled, coaching football now, and it's been 4 years since I've been out, and I'm getting the itch again.
So what does the last 4 years look like? Have you just been kind of laying low? Have you been watching football? Have you been talking to anyone about football? Because you are a football guy through and through.
Yeah.
It had to have been weird I would imagine that was one of the first times in your life since you were a little kid that you took a break from football.
Yeah. It was, I didn't know what was going to happen. We went down, one of my sons, Cody, and I went down to Miami, and Mario Cristobal has been great to me, who I coached at the University of Miami. And we asked him if we could get Cody a job as a young analyst. And he said, yeah, come on up. And Cody said, Daddy, Miami's a big city. You mind moving down there? I said, I'll volunteer.
That's a good dad. Yeah, you'll take one for the team.
So I moved down to Miami Beach, and I've been living there ever since. My other son, Parker, he is an analyst at Miami, so I got two boys there. And my older son coaching at Tulane.
So Ed Orgeron, Diesel, has three sons, all coaching football. Now we have, in the last month, three coaches, again, Jimbo, John Gruden, and Ed Orgeron, who all want to make a return to college football. I ask you, and I ask the Tolos out there at 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. Of the three, we'll get the landing spots for all three in a second. But if we were to look into our crystal ball, our prediction of who of the three will actually land in college football first, you would say your best guess would be who?
Jimbo.
Okay.
It would be Jimbo, because I don't know that Ed, as much as I love Ed Orgeron and I love this guy's personality, could you really see Ed Orgeron at like a Indiana type school? Not saying that Signetti's going anywhere.
Yeah.
But could you see him at a up north kind of school? No, you can't. You can't really see him at a Southwestern kind of school either. Do you really see him in a majority, especially the western half of the Big 12? No, you don't. So it kind of pigeonholes him, and you really don't see him at a G5 either. He's a guy that is really good. He's got a national championship under his belt. He's not taking the job at Arkansas State when Butch Jones inevitably gets fired. So you're now pigeonholing him to the SEC and to the southern half of the ACC.
Yeah, you are.
So I just think the pickings there are kind of slim. And again, if we're talking about head coaching jobs, not just high-level coordinators, talking about head coaching jobs.
Any of them. I'd say any of them.
Oh, okay.
Because I'll say this, Diesel, I would predict that if Ed Orgeron gets back into coaching, it's not as a head coach. I think Ed's days of head coaching are done. I really do.
Fascinating.
I believe if you were to include assistant jobs here, Diesel, I think Ed Orgeron could get picked up pretty quick. He mentioned he's got two sons at Miami on the staff, right? He's got one at Tulane. Ed Orgeron has ties to a certain coach in the SEC, and I mean deep ties. These two worked together in the early 2000s at Southern Cal. Orgeron was on this coach's staff at Tennessee. He also returned to Southern Cal when this coach became the coach in 2010. And then when Orgeron was promoted to LSU's coach, there was a lot of talk about this certain coach leaving his offensive coordinator position at Bama to go call plays at LSU for Ed Orgeron. This coach that I'm talking about was named FAU's coach that offseason, Lane Kiffin. There's a deep connection there.
Yeah.
Orgeron Diesel was the coach at Ole Miss from 05 to 07. He knows the area when it comes to recruiting. It's right there in that ballpark of kind of where he's from. And he knows how to work with Lane Kiffin. I don't know if it happens, but if I had a best guess, I think this could be a strong possibility next offseason.
I'd love it. I'd love to see it. And doesn't he also have a lot of time spent in the same place as Steve Sarkisian?
Maybe so.
So, I mean, you could also see Ed Orgeron taking a staff job at Texas. That's not a far cry. It's not a far stretch. But if it's head coaching jobs, I don't think there's a ton of those opportunities. Maybe he takes a UCF kind of job. Well, no, Scott Frost just took that job. It's hard to say, man, but
there's
definitely
a lot of schools in Florida,
as a coordinator, absolutely. Ed's back in basically in no time. The curious thing about John Gruden is, how long do we think John Gruden would be willing to stick around at a school that's not winning? Right? I mean, if he were to take the Arkansas job, or if he were to take, a job like that, do you think he's willing to stick around and struggle through a couple of seasons just to be in the SEC? I mean, to me, it feels like the NFL comes calling, he's gone like that.
I think of the three, I think Gruden's more of the pipe dream. It'd be fun.
Well, people have been saying we're going to get John Gruden for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, I just think of the three, Jimbo, Orgeron, Gruden. I could see Jimbo getting a head job. I could see Orgeron going back to being an assistant. Maybe I'm proven wrong on this, Diesel. I just can't see. I can't see Gruden getting a high-level SEC job or getting – I'm not saying he's not a good coach.
It'd be fun.
It would be fun. It'd be interesting. I just don't know. Are any of these coaches willing to go to the FCS level? Maybe. Or do they want to coach that bad that they're willing to go coach in FCS football
or G5? I mean, there's a whole half of college football there. There's a half of Division I there.
Yeah, I will say this: he's got two sons at Miami. Orgeron does. I don't know if you can fit three on one staff with those personalities, but you got to remember Orgeron was Miami's defensive line coach from 1988 to 1992. It's been 30 years since Ed worked for Miami, but he's familiar with the program. Again, his son Cody is working there as an analyst. He lives there, right? He already lives there. And
man, to have an umbrella and a towel on South Beach and just watch Coach O just sauntering around, that'd be fun.
And he's got a good relationship with Cristobal. And look, let's be honest. I mean, there's some value in adding a guy like Ed to your staff that can recruit that area. South Florida, he's got experience recruiting there. I don't know. USC, Southern Cal's interesting for a third stint, Diesel. Probably not. This would be his third stint at USC if he went back there. Riley hired Rob Ryan to coach linebackers after he left, and there was some riffraff there. I don't see that happening. Again, Texas would be the first time he's ever coached at Texas. But for Ed Orgeron, I could see him going to Miami or Ole Miss. I really could. Jimbo Fisher, we talked about this the other day. Where's Jimbo Fisher? Where's his best fit? I don't think Jimbo's going back to the state of Florida, Diesel, if something were to happen in Orville. I don't think they'd have him back after the way that ended. I just don't know. Jimbo is he's the wild card here in terms of where his best fit would be.
I would love to see Jimbo back in the ACC. I'd love to see him, kind of be that foil to Dabo again. I don't know if that's going to be Florida State. I wouldn't have high expectations of him going back to Florida State.
You think he'd be an assistant anywhere? High-level assistant?
I don't know.
Let's just say, for example,
it's not like he was really good at Florida State and won a national championship, for crying out loud. He was actually fairly good at Texas A&M, but that was a weird fit to start with, and that's odd, twitchy fan base. I mean, if I'm Jimbo, I feel like I've got a lot left in the tank, and I've still got a lot left to prove, because I think a lot of people probably have some weird, undeserved bad taste in their mouth about Jimbo Fisher.
Let's say something crazy happens, and this is a wild scenario, Diesel. You ready for this? This is wild, off the wall. What if Garrett Riley leaves Clemson for another job? What if Clemson wins the national championship or plays in the national championship, right? What if Garrett Riley, Diesel, gets a phone call and he's gone, right? He takes a job at wherever. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And then all of a sudden, Dabo Swinney has to replace Garrett Riley. I just wonder. And I know this is crazy. It's out there. It's far-fetched. But would Dabo Swinney hire Jimbo Fisher as an offensive coordinator? Would Jimbo Fisher entertain that call?
If he had the chance to, I'd make the phone call.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, of the high-level programs that are going to lose an OC, wouldn't you say that Clemson's probably at the top of that list or close to the top of the list, Diesel, that have coordinators, particularly on the offense side of the football, that are really good and maybe have that big name like Garrett Riley? I mean, what other job could – I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't have any inside information, but wouldn't that be interesting? Jimbo and Dabo on the same staff.
Wow.
Why?
You know what? Why not call Ed Jimbo, Dabo, Cocho?
Yeah, that'd be
all of them together.
I don't know that would. I don't know that Ed Orgeron would fit that Clemson mold.
That would be the most entertaining cluster of coaches ever. And look, some of these coaches, maybe they're coming to the realization that, you know what, being a head coach with that tremendous amount of pressure, just not all it's cracked up to be. So, I'd rather take an assistant job. All I got to do is show up and do my job. I don't have to worry about everybody else's job. Just do my job.
On the Hub City Spartanburgers text line, 341 says, Bill retires. You've got a successor. How about that?
Hey.
I think that's Jay Butane.
Yeah, Jimbo in Chapel Hill. What? Interesting.
Would that be?
Now think about it from these terms. Yeah. Maybe Jimbo, I don't know how much longer Jimbo is going to get paid by A&M, probably like the next 100 years.
Yeah.
But say we're talking about 2030 and this grant of rights coming to its logical fruition and possibly super conferences happening. And obviously by that point, there's a good chance Bill Belichick is already retired and has been gone for a year or so.
Yeah.
Imagine Jimbo taking over for North Carolina, heading into super conference A or B, whichever one you want to pick.
Weird,
right?
wouldn't it? It'd be weird. I just, I'm afraid, Diesel, that they've got some deal where Stephen Belichick's going to be the next coach there. That's what I'm afraid of.
I mean, it's North Carolina. They'll find a way to weasel out of it. They're a law school.
Shane Barrett brings up an interesting question on the YouTube stream, Diesel. He says, what if Kalen DeBoer goes 9-3 again and Bama fires him? Well, first thing, Shane, I'll say, you live in Tuscaloosa. You know better than we would. If he goes 9-3, he's not getting fired.
They're not going to fire him. They're going to put him in a box.
You go 9-3. Like, is it Bama standard? No. I don't think Kalen DeBoer gets fired at 9-3. 8-4?
There'd be a heck of a lot of people calling for it, but the athletic director and board of trustees doesn't actually do it.
No, I don't think so. I think the only way Kalen DeBoer gets fired from Bama is if he goes like 6-6. That's the only way, and that's not going to happen. Like, there's just no shot that happened. They're way too talented. I think DeBoer's safe. It was a rocky start, but I think DeBoer's safe. But Jimbo at Alabama.
Give me 9-3 in the first year of a head coach anytime. I mean, that's not a rocky start. It's a rocky start for Bama.
It's a rocky start for Bama.
But that's not a rocky start.
You lose to Vandy and Michigan, though, in the first year.
So it's not how many games you lost. It's who you lost to. That's all it is.
You can't go to Bama and lose to Vandy and Michigan. And I'm talking about a Michigan that's not the Michigan from the year before.
Right.
This was a bad Michigan team a season ago.
Right.
They beat Ohio State, and I think they beat, like a high school team, and that was it. So I don't know. I think these three coaches, Diesel, ultimately they're good coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they land? We'll see if they land anywhere. They might not. They might enjoy their money.
Tolo's texting in at 844-326-3663. Dewey says John Gruden would be a great replacement At South Carolina, should Shane Beamer get fired? Let's try saying that 5 times. Should Shane Beamer? South Carolina should Shane Beamer. Try to say that 5 times fast. Let's see. Texter says Gruden gives me Muschamp vibes, sadly. Josh Tradamus, a.k.a. Jay Butane. He's the one who said, send him to North Carolina as an assistant to Bill. He says Bill is head coach, Jimbo OC, Edo DC. Boom, says Jay Butane. When we come back, we'll catch up on a few of your upset picks. And Cole, why? Just why? We're a week away from the season. Why would a prestigious university unveil something like this? It's coming your way next on the Fan Upstate. I don't know about you, Cole, but I am very, very good at withholding my money when I see my school or a brand that I typically do business with trying to engage in a blatant cash grab. I say nay. You will not get any of my cash. Also, because I am a man of tradition, okay? I want things to stay the same. Shakes fist at Cloud. But now that we are just, 8 days away? 9 days away from college football? Depending on who you are and what school you root for.
1 week.
1 week away.
2 days.
We have those so's and so's up at Notre Dame trying to extract millions of dollars from their fans right before kickoff. And I will not stand for it.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. But
okay.
Fill me in on this.
There is a design philosophy that's been going around for a while called flat design. It's where you take, beloved iconic designs and you just oversimplify it, make it like just 2 or 3 colors. There's no borders, there's no shading, anything like that. It's just flat. Maybe you've seen the Cracker Barrel logo showing up on your feed the last 24 hours or so. Does that one hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, see, you get my point here.
Don't bring that up.
You get my point here.
Oh, my God.
Cracker Barrel was perfect.
And they took some stores are taking all the stuff down. They're just painting the walls.
What?
I hope that place goes bankrupt.
Burn it down.
What are they doing here?
Burn it down. Just like I'm sure Leprechaun of Lyman is somewhere seething right now that the University of Notre Dame had the gall to change its logo now just days away from football season. This is a football-only logo, which means they're probably going to come out with a basketball one too, so they can sell you all new hats and jerseys. So here's the iconic Notre Dame logo. Everybody knows this logo. It's been the same for 60 years. Has not changed in 60 years. Well, they just took a big steaming you-know-what on our desk, looking at you, Mike Shula.
This is the original one I'm looking at on the stream, by the way.
This is not the original. Okay. This is just the one they've used for the last 60 years. One we all know.
I got you.
And this is their brand new one. Womp.
And by the way, if you're not watching on the stream, we have the picture there. That's their new one. That guy what's the guy's hair in the back? Like, what do we?
Yeah, so they went from this, everybody just picture the Notre Dame logo. You can. It's the leprechaun, his feet pointing the other direction. He's kind of got his head back and he's got his fists out like he's going to fight somebody. And then they go to this. They change the direction that the guy is facing. They put a football in his hand and he looks like he's running the football down to score a touchdown.
He's a football Irishman, right?
That's bogus.
The football leprechaun.
Get out of here. This is garbage, Notre Dame. What are you doing? Now, if it was up to me, Cole, and I spent money on Notre Dame gear, which I never have, I would buy something with this logo on it. That's the way old school Notre Dame logo.
That is really, really.
That's like really old school.
I don't know. I think I like the first one best out of all 3.
That's the one we know.
Yeah, that one's interesting there, man. That looks like clip art, what that looks like.
Yeah, so this was 1965 and prior. Then they went to 65 to now, and then now.
Ooh.
So bad.
Oh,
it's so bad.
Oh,
get out of here, Notre Dame. Stop with this logo changing.
Yeah, we live in this. I mean, like, there's local schools that have done it recently too. We live in this world where you got to rebrand, right? You rebrand, you change the logo, and some of them are good. It's
all about selling merch, man.
But some of them aren't good, and that's the thing. There are logos that aren't good. So
JB says Notre Dame is a joke with their little leprechaun. Kind of looks like the Cleveland Brown Elves.
Wow.
Cleveland Browns elf logo.
I like that comparison, JB.
Okay.
I really do. So I'm glad you brought this logo conversation up because coming up next we have, with the Cracker Barrel, it hurt, by the way. The new logo's terrible. And it's not the fact that they changed it. It just looks horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. It's bland.
It looks lazy.
It's plain.
Lazy.
It looks like something I created on my computer. Seriously, it's terrible looking. But
it's like you loaded the image of the old logo into ChatGPT and just said, hey, take this, but make it worse.
They might have used, we don't know. They might have used ChatGPT.
And you don't have to pay designers.
Right? So, they not saying they did, but you never know. So, Diesel, here's what we're going to do. We have the Tolo Takeover next, which, by the way, Tolos, this segment is designed for you to take over these airwaves. We do a couple of segments throughout the course of the week for you to have opportunities to call the show. We do Overreaction Monday on Mondays, where we give you a chance to overreact to something that happened in the sports weekend. Tolo Takeover today, Thursdays, 5 o'clock. It's where we give you an opportunity to complain or gripe about something that's going on. It doesn't have to be sports related. We try to keep Monday more sports related, and especially with more sports coming back, we can do so. But Tolo Takeover next, and I'm going to throw in a logo question since we're having the logo conversation. For any Tolos that call in the very next segment, the Tolo Takeover, you will get extra points. We all like extra points, right? Extra credit in class. You will receive extra Tolo points if you can call the show. And by the way, you can't use the internet. If you use the internet, you're cheating, you're disqualified.
Well, then don't take Dewey's call, because you know Dewey's going to cheat.
No. Dewey doesn't have internet. But here's what I want to do. Tolo Takeover, throwing a wrench in the Tolo Takeover. I'm going to ask you a logo-related question pertaining to the NFL. I'm not going to give you the question now because you can research it, but I'm going to ask you the question when you call the show so that you can't research it. Don't put us on speaker and do it on your phone. Be real. Let's go. Tolo Takeover. It's coming up next, 844-326-3663. And brownie points if you are an NFL logo expert. I'm going to put you to the test next. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 Tolos on hold at this very moment. I don't know if something's in the air today, but the phone lines are stacked. We've got a few spots open at 844-326-3663. And I mean, the waiting room is full. People are itching to get in. It's hour number 3. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. It's the TOLO Takeover, your opportunity to call the show, sound off on anything sports-related, not sports-related. It doesn't matter. Right now's your segment. And a caveat, I have little extra bonus points on this Thursday. If you do call the show, when we put you on the air, if you think you're an NFL logo expert, let me know. I have a question for you. If you're not, it's okay. I won't ask you, but the TOLO Takeover begins now. And let's start it off. T-Experience, 844-FAN phone. What's up, T-Experience, man? How are you?
Pretty good. How y'all doing today?
Good.
All right.
What you got?
Calling back. I want to recant that last statement from a few weeks back about my Florida Gators. Hey, I know y'all can change the record, so don't write me down for what I said previously.
Oh, yeah. When you called last week, right?
It's been a couple of weeks.
That's right.
What did you have them going, T-Experience? Well, let's remind the audience. What did you say?
See, what had happened was I don't drink, I don't eat meat, so I was perfect for the thing, but I was out my mind if you follow. Anyway, I don't know. I'm going 7 and 5. I'm changing it. I don't care what y'all wrote down. I'm going 7 and 5.
Do you remember what you told us last time you called in?
9 and 3.
It was
9 and 3.
Yeah, it was
9 and 3. Now he's changing it to 7 and 5. This is your last chance, T-Experience. If you want to go ahead and make it, if you want to make it 5 and 7, you can do it now. Last chance.
6 and 6.
So you're fine.
I'm not a Billy Napier fan. I like what he did in Louisiana, but this is the University of Florida. Come on, man. No. Get him out of here.
All right, your final answer. Florida's season record. What's your final answer?
6 and 6.
God, is he fired at 6 and 6? He's fired, right?
Gotta be.
Yeah, I think so. It's 6 and 6. I'm pretty sure.
Hit the bricks, Buster. Thanks for the
Thanks,
call,
man.
My logo question.
Say it again.
Ready for my logo question?
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, he's ready.
All right. So here's the logo question. I am going to allow you T-Experience to answer the question, but you can only give one answer, one team. Okay. So here's the question. Right now we have 6 Tolos on hold. T-Experience, TA and Gaffney, Dewey, Danby, Delvin, and Dell all on hold.
What's with the D names?
I know. The question is, T-Experience, there are 3 NFL teams who have never changed their logo. If you are on hold, don't research it. Can you name one of the 3 NFL teams, T-Experience, who have never changed their logo?
Never changed their logo. Cleveland Browns?
No, you'd be wrong.
The Browns have changed.
I'm going to give you one more shot, and then we're going to the next caller. One more guess.
Let's go with the Field did an update. Let's go with the Raiders.
Bingo! There you go. You got one.
Let's go.
You've got one of them. Congratulations. Thanks for the call, as always, T-Experience. He got one. So that leaves 2 teams.
2. I think I know one of them.
That have never changed their logo in the NFL.
I think I know one.
TOLO Takeover.
You're talking at all.
Yeah.
No changes at all.
Yeah. It's what it's what you're getting off the internet now. Like, I didn't write this article, so don't hate me for it. Let's go to TA and Gaffney, TOLO Takeover. What's up, TA?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
I'm going to go with Titletown, USA, and say the Green Bay Packers. They've been around so long. I'm going to say Green Bay.
It's a good guess, but you'd be wrong on that.
Oh, man. All right.
One more.
guys.
Give me one more. Give me one more, TA.
Okay.
One more.
Okay. I'm thinking old, but then they do change old stuff. Let me. I'm thinking up in the northeast. Philadelphia Eagles.
Wrong.
God. Okay.
One is the
That's a tough
Raiders.
question.
We'll tell you it's tough. That's why I wanted to bring it to you. We'll tell you. Obviously, we'll let the other Tolos guess. Anything else for us, TA?
Yeah, just real quick. What did the Raiders used to be? I don't remember another logo.
No, this is it. This is the.
They've never changed it.
It's the three teams that have never changed it. That's right.
I got
Three that have never changed it.
And
this-
No, you're good.
This means they've only ever used one logo.
Yeah.
No, like alternate logos. No, nothing like that. So
the Michigan Wolverine. No, that's not it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll call you guys back tomorrow. And
Thanks, man.
I'm gonna have some news for you.
Hey,
All
hey,
right.
TA, have you gotten us your upset pick yet?
I think he.
You might have. I'm just asking. I'm just making sure while we got you on the line.
Well, just give me 2 seconds in the upset pick in like the first week of college. I didn't hear the
upset picks challenge. I thought I saw your text come through yesterday, maybe not, but basically first week, there's 5 games this week. Upset picks challenge. It's every week. You're picking one team that's the underdog to outright win the game. If it hits, that's how many points you get.
Okay.
If you want to think about it and text us back, you can.
Well, I'll ask you one thing: is they're probably not, but is Carolina or Tennessee an underdog?
Well, this is just this weekend.
This is week 0.
So
this
you'll only have 5 games to choose from. You can look at the slate though, and get back to us.
Sorry to mess that segment
No, you're
up.
good.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, TA.
Thanks,
Sorry,
TA.
brother.
Appreciate you. All right, let's go to Dewey, who's next in the Tolo Takeover. What's up, Dewey?
Yes, I got a couple of complaints.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I'll make this quick about the first complaint. I went to a food establishment yesterday. I think I mentioned this on the stream thing, but their food was terrible. The food was cold, and they had roaches crawling on the floor. I went to complain to the manager and his little underling, and they wanted to get all bent out of shape about it, get disrespectful with me. So I got disrespectful back. I'm not paying $45 for cold food and watching little bugs crawl around the establishment.
Was there really bugs, Dewey? Was there really bugs?
It was bugs. It was roaches.
I think
there was always 3 roaches.
I think Dewey feels bugs crawling on his skin that aren't really there.
Hey, tell us how'd the conversation go?
No, I politely said, hey, my food was cold, and look, you got 3 little bugs right there. I killed them. There's the 1, 2, 3. They were dead. He just looked at me, and he's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? I was like, well, you can give me free food, first of all, and second of all, you need to clean your establishment up. And we just went back and forth, and finally he said something disrespectful to me, and I pushed him. And then he kicked me out of the place and threatened to call the police. That was terrible.
And what establishment was this, Dewey?
No,
you know what? No, we don't.
No. I don't know. That's a good idea. Dewey, are you going to go? No, don't.
The exterminator on them. D-Heck.
Are you going to go back?
No, they're terrible. I don't think I'm allowed back either.
Thanks, Dewey.
But anyways, my second complaint.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
This is a big one. We got to do better on social media, people. First of all, we got to stop believing everything you see on social media. There's stuff about earthquakes, volcanoes, Bigfoot, aliens. It's not real, people. The government's not out to get us, even though we believe that. And the government's not out to get us. There's no chemtrails. The crop circles are not real. Bigfoot's not real. The Loch Ness Monster's not real. TikTok is fake. And another thing, and this actually came from the Greenville County Sheriff's Department. And I know the first day of school's already done passed, but if you got a little child going to school for the first day, quit posting their pictures on social media. They quit posting about what class they're in, what school they go to, what their nickname is, and how old they are, because you're asking for trouble and you're end up being on, seeing them on America's Most Wanted being abducted. Oh,
thanks, Dewey. What did he have to drink today?
Lord,
what just happened? I don't even know. Like, they just need to go to a break. Don't we? Go to commercial.
Let's see. Who is it? Eric Hines says, "Fly Eagles fly." He says, "You're wrong, Cole. Your information is wrong. The Raiders
you're telling me my
have
article's
changed
wrong?
their logo.
You're
they changed it in the '60s, which to check up on him, I Googled it, and yeah, Cole, there's like 5 different Raiders logos.
Well, this one I'm reading says that they haven't changed it.
Now, they've always had the Raider in the middle, like the guy wearing the eye patch. But the problem is, originally his helmet was black, and it was black from 1960 and 1963. And then they shrunk the head and the crossed sabers inside of the shield, and they changed his hat from black to mostly silver with a black stripe. So they have changed the Raiders logo.
So you're telling me this article I'm reading is no good?
Liars!
You're no good. Now let's see. Let's this logo history website, and I'm what I need to report them. I guess, is that right? Report them for false information.
Go get them. Sick Dewey on them.
Let's get Dan B in on the TOLO Takeover. What's up, Dan B?
Hey, guys. Wow. There's just so much stuff.
Good luck following that, Dan.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, I get that your article may be defunct at this point already, but I was originally going to say the Giants, but don't answer on that one. I'm going to go with the Panthers.
They have changed theirs. Yeah.
Seriously? In the 18 years they've been a team, they've already changed it?
Well, I'm just going off of this article. Yes, they have. I'm looking at 1995 to 2012. There have been some slight changes. Now, again, not anything dramatic, but there have been some changes.
Okay, fair enough. All right, moving on. Yeah, I don't know who peed in Dewey's Wheaties today, but that happened. The picks, glad to hear Delvin's on the line. That's awesome. I was going to mention him. Yeah. We still need Harold. We need to get a ping on Harold. And then that one pick, if you'll take a look, I'll just say it out loud. Mason Brew, he picked the wrong week.
Mason Brew. We copy and paste these as they come in live on.
No. Diesel copies and paste them.
I copy and paste them as they come in live. So if it's incorrect, that's on him. Mason Brew, you hear that?
Yeah,
Mason Brew, get your correct picking. Hey Dan, where are we at on number of entries compared to last year in the first week? Are we close or no?
We're close. Yep, we're at 60.
What do we need to break last year's first week?
It'll be 65. So
how about that?
We're almost there. We're going to get it.
Me and Jess haven't picked, so there's 2 more right there, and we got Delvin on the line, so there's 3. So
Jess hasn't picked yet.
Yeah, him and Jess. Let me ask you this: you said we need to get to 65 to match last year's first week. Is that right? Week 0.
That is correct.
So let's do this. We've got today and tomorrow. Let's set a goal for. Let's go 80.
I think we can hit 85.
85, 90. I think 85. We get 90. I think we get 90.
I think last year, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, the most number of picks we ever had in a week was probably somewhere around like 115, 120, right?
No. Screw it. Let's go 100.
Probably somewhere in that. Yeah, it's definitely been over 100.
Let's get 100 this week.
By the end of the season, or around weeks, 12, 13, 14, we were easily 100 a week.
Let's get 100 right now this week. So we need 40 more this week.
40 more
in 2 days. Is that possible? Is that feasible? Like, look, there's way more than 40 people listening right now that probably hadn't played, that hadn't participated in the Upset Picks Challenge. So here we go, Dan. Let's get them a charge. Fire them up. If you've never played before, we need 40 more. Let's get to 100 in the first. That would be outstanding in the first week. You text the show, 844-326-3663 with your name, your game, and the spread. Let's get 40 more.
There's heavy hitters that haven't hit yet. Amazon guy, JT Greer.
Yeah, get your wives to play too, by the way. That's a good message from Shane.
Roger Carper, Tiger Pal, Rachel. Come on, on, guys. We're Wesley Roberts, Kevin Bug.
Oh, Dan B's calling him out.
God.
I love it, Dan. Calling him out.
We've only spent the last month telling everybody that we're doing week 0 and week 1, just like we did last year. We did the same thing last year.
Let's get 100. Let's get 40.
Yeah.
Tyler R. just got his in and easily. Let's do
Shane
it.
Connick, he might be Shane Connick. He might be a celeb, right?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. This.
Notre Dame Nate, where you at?
Oh man,
Oh,
thanks for the call, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Appreciate you, man. All right, let's go to one more pick coming in right now. It's long lost Delvin. What's up, Delvin? We've been looking for you, man. Glad to hear from you.
Yeah, I ain't got no pick this week. I was going to do week 1 this week, man.
What do you mean? You want to leave possible points on the board, Delvin?
Yeah, because I'm down to 2 in-state rivalries next week that I'm trying to decide from.
Yeah, but there's 5 games this week.
Yeah, these are 2 separate weeks, Delvin. These are 2 separate weeks, so you can pick both weeks.
Yeah, I don't got nothing this week though. I wasn't paying attention. This week 0. I wasn't paying attention to the game this week.
So you're not gonna pick.
Well, you got 24 hours
because I was all focused on week 1.
Yeah, you got 24 hours to figure it out, Delvin. You can call back tomorrow.
Yeah, if you change your mind, let us know.
Yeah. If I give up, if I don't pick now tomorrow, I'll probably get it next Wednesday. Call it in for y'all with my pick. Cause I'm down to 2 picks. But you were talking about Coach Gruden and stuff like that. Everybody saying that. I'm gonna say Tennessee because you remember Tennessee tried to get him years ago. You remember they're gonna fire Josh Heupel when he go 10-3 so they can get John Gruden. Because they've been trying to get John Gruden forever.
Fire him when they go 10-3
to get Gruden. Oh my God!
If he do go somewhere, it probably Florida. Bill Napier don't have a good season. It probably Florida. But you talking about logos? I'm trying to think. Do it count with the helmet? The helmet don't got to change. If the helmet changed, right?
Yeah, I think that's
I think it's just the main logo that's on the helmet. You see it on T-shirts and hats and all that stuff.
I'm trying to. I don't know if right. I'm going to Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, they have changed. Unfortunately,
they have changed
just a little bit, though. Just a little bit. They've only tweaked. They've only tweaked it again. Not major changes.
Oh, the Jazz. How about the Jacksonville Jaguars?
The Jaguars. Well, let's see.
That's going to be one of my guesses. The Jaguars. Because I know the Panthers have made some slight changes, and they've also introduced some alternate logos. You know, like the all blue flat logo.
That's why I say I won't pick the Panthers at first because they did alternate.
Yeah, Jags have changed theirs. Yeah, Jags have.
Dang, man.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Delvin.
Thanks, Delvin. Good to hear from you.
I'm gonna think about it. If I don't get it tomorrow, I'll get it next Wednesday for y'all. It's still next Wednesday, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, next Wednesday's week 1, but right now is week 0. So if you change your mind, pray about it and get back to us.
Yeah. 4 o'clock, right?
4 o'clock Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But if I don't get it tomorrow, I'll probably get it on next week for you guys. But yeah, man, this is hard. This is a good question, Bryce. Man, these cold, man. These sorry about that.
You're good.
These logos. I'm thinking right now. I'm not looking at nothing. I'm just thinking right now. I'm trying to think in my head of all the logos. Which one haven't changed? That's hard. Whoever get it, y'all good, man.
Appreciate you, Delvin.
Thanks, Delvin.
So he said the Jaguars. Have the Jaguars changed their logo?
They have, yeah. So you said the Raiders have, so that only leaves 1. Then.
I was thinking the 49ers. They've been that red oval with the SF in the middle for a long time.
No, they changed it.
What?
Yeah. Well, keep it going. Let's go to Dale, the last one for now on the Tolo Takeover. What's up, Dale? How are you?
And what's good, gentle people?
Hey.
Hey, so with the logo, I haven't liked the Steelers since '95 when they lost to the Cowboys, so I'm against Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh had
what?
They have. Yeah.
I can only picture one.
That's right. That's the only one I can think of.
So here's what I'm reading. This is what's interesting about this.
This is an impossible question.
This
it's
team.
A fraudulent question.
So here's where I got this, okay? This team moved. All right, so here's
the Titans.
No. Let me play the audio for you, okay? They were interviewing Pat McAfee and others about this because Diesel debunked who was it? The Raiders?
Raiders.
They did change theirs.
Raiders
all right,
changed.
So let's listen to this audio.
Cleveland Browns? Incorrect. We're in New Orleans. I'm going to say the Saints.
No.
Chiefs?
No.
Steelers?
Incorrect.
First off, let me go through the NFC East.
No, that's a waste of time.
Okay, I'm going to move to the South.
The Dallas Cowboys?
It's a really good guess. They slightly changed the color. If you get this right, I'll give you a crisp.
Let's have had like
high
8 stars.
Bears? Nope. The Patriots? Nope.
Seahawks, no, I don't like them. Rams, of course not. Niners, I'm going to put a pause on them. Packers.
No.
Bro, you told me to leave the East, man.
Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, that's a good guess. No, they slightly changed it.
Okay, it's not the Oilers because they were the Texans and the Oilers, so it can't be them.
Well, our research was the Texans.
The Texans.
They were the Oilers.
The Texans were the Oilers. So
that's cheating.
So since they were the Texans,
God.
since they were the Texans, how
Hey,
about that?
Dale, have you ever seen My Cousin Vinny?
Yeah, those youths.
Yeah, the Utes. This is Marissa Tomei saying it's a BS question. You know what I mean?
Oh, Marissa Tomei.
I know, right? We could spend the next hour of the show talking about that.
Well, you ain't right about that. But anyway,
Anyways.
takeover time. Let's do this.
All right, let's go.
Anybody else got a itching for a fantasy football draft?
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing ours.
I opened up my league 3 months ago, and I've had the counter going from like 98 days, and I've only got 8 days left.
Well,
Woo, let's go.
Dale, are you in our league yet?
No, I would love to get an invite.
We've
though.
already got one full. So right now, I'm glad you brought that up because there's a lot of people interacting right now. We did this, Monday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
One league's already full. Dale, if you or any other Tolos out there want to join the Fantasy Football Wire-to-Wire League, text the show with your, 844-326-3663 and say you want to join the league. I'll send you back a link to join. One league's already full. We've got one more league. If we have to open 3, we can. But let's get L2, which is League 2, full. Let's see. Right now, let me check and see how many players are in this league. We have 2. Again, one's already full. We've got 3 in this one in L2. So we have 4 actually. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots open. Right now, 8 spots open. If you want in, text the show at 844-326-3663.
So this is a 12-team league then,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
And is this standard PPR?
Yes.
Is it snake draft?
Yes, Snake.
When will the draft selection be made? Or is it
Draft.
just
We'll
on
do.
the fly?
We'll do draft next week sometime.
Yeah, but I mean, like the draft order. Is it all random?
Random. Yeah.
It's all Gosh, okay. You guys make it fun.
Text the show, Dale.
I will send you a text.
Do it, baby. Do it. Let's see it.
Let's go.
Thanks, Dale. Dale, by the way, Shane Barrett wants to know if you two can be friends.
Sure, I got lots of friends.
He's got room. He's got room for another friend. Congratulations, Shane Barrett. Y'all can find each other on social
Thanks,
media.
Dale. For now, I believe this is the last caller in the TOLO Takeover. We're going over a little long. Tom in Somerville makes caller number 8 in this very
How
segment.
about that?
So
That's got to be a record.
They're piling them on today. By the way, Tolos, if you want in on the Fantasy Football League, text the show. I'll send you the invite right now. Tom in Somerville, what's up, man?
Yeah, what is the SEC doing? Why are we going to non-conference games? This is the stupidest thing the SEC has ever done. This is the stupidest thing the SEC has ever done. They're bowing down to the Big Ten for no reason. There's no reason to go to non-conference games. Zero, and they're bowing down to the Big Ten. This is the stupidest thing Greg Sankey has ever done, and he deserves to be fired.
So in case you missed it.
So you don't like it?
Breaking news.
Absolutely not, Diesel.
Number 1, Tom doesn't like it. Number 2, it happened during the TOLO Takeover. Tom just made it official on the Fan Upstate. They did. The SEC confirmed they are going to 9 conference games. And that probably, Tom, in your mind, would put some rivalry games in question, right?
No, so the ACC is going to follow suit. It's coming any minute now. You know, the SEC is still requiring to play one Power 5 team out of conference, which is the right thing to do. But, South Carolina's already confirmed Miami and Clemson in the non-conference next year.
But here's the thing. Now that everybody's at 9, just go to 13 regular season games. Go to 13. Everybody has 4. Now, here's the kicker. You still play 12 official games, but that 13th game is your FCS game in the preseason. Do not schedule any more FCS games in the regular season. Now that we're all at 9 games, you play 1 Power 4 non-conference game. You play 2 G5s. If you want to play 2 Power 4s, go for it. But the FCS game, play it the first week of August. It doesn't count. Everybody's on the same playing field, and you move on. But moving to 9 conference games is the worst thing the SEC has ever done.
Tom, you're the man. Appreciate you.
Go Gamecock.
All right, let's see if we can actually get them on the line, Diesel, real quick. We can fit.
You got to do it quick.
Rick and Greer in here because every other time he calls, he hangs up. Rick, what's up, man? It's been 10 months since we've heard from you.
I've been in a Mexican jail for the past 6 months.
Mexican jail.
Which gang did you join?
Sir. No, I didn't join a gang. I went down and went to Cabo San Lucas about 6.5 months ago. And
we've seen you in the last 6.5 months, Tom.
No, you haven't.
Rick.
No, you haven't. You haven't seen me.
Who is that? Your twin brother, Nick?
It's Dick.
Oh, God.
So what's on your mind, Rick?
Is Dewey crazy? Is hollering in the...
Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
He's hollering and screaming. Come on, Dewey. Come on.
Are you going to get an upset picks in, Rick?
Yeah, I am. Okay. I'm going to turn in my way of text.
That'll be good.
All right.
Thank you.
What interstate are you standing at? Are you hitchhiking right now? Where are you, Rick? We got a lot of road noise.
I am driving up Highway 29. I just got through it today with work, and I'm tired. And I'm going to go home. I'm going to go eat me a hot dog and go home.
Wow. Sounds riveting. Thanks, Rick.
Great night.
Thanks,
Rick.
We need like a 3-hour break after that. I mean, that was epic, right?
I feel like I need to go take a shower.
I don't know what just happened in that last 25 minutes.
We'll do a little reset when we come back, Cole. I'll hit you with some audio. Good old-fashioned audio blitz next. Cole, just like that, we're up to 73 picks and counting. Love it.
You know what that means? We absolutely can reach our goal that I set that I thought might have been a little out there. That means we only need 27 more.
I thought you were going to say pizza party.
Well, that too. That's fine. I like
it's
pizza.
Fun.
27 more Tolos. I don't know that in the history of the upset. I mean, 100 in week zero.
In week 0.
That's insane.
That'd be a new record, Tolos.
That's
Let's
insane.
get it.
Look, we know a lot of new Tolos are listening. I mean, through different platforms, through Twitter, we're bringing different people to the show all these different ways. Somebody on Twitter sees, something we're doing. They like the show. They start listening every day. They become a Tolo. So I think we can get 100. I think we can get 27 more by the end of the show tomorrow.
Let's do it. Tolos, remember, if you are listening after the fact, you and I, Cole, right now, believe it or not, are live. But some Tolos do listen to the show in their own time, and that's great. You can do that. That's fine. But whenever you get us your upset picks, make sure you text it to us during our live show hours, Wednesday through Friday. Wednesday starting at 4 o'clock, and then 3 to 7 on Thursday and Friday while we're live on the air.
And Joe told me on the Hub City Spartan Burgers text line, I try to slow down, I promise. He said, slow your roll when giving out the text number. I apologize. I do say it fast sometimes.
We only give it 37 times a day, Joe.
So, gosh, geez. Well, we'll do it one more time. We'll do it 38, and I will make sure I do it slower sometimes.
844 fan phone.
There you go.
FANFONE
326-3663. I know that, look, you might not be listening when we give it out the other times. You might pop in. How about Jay Waller, who texted in Diesel? He gets his upset pick in, says, love the show. And Anderson, appreciate you, Jay Waller.
Love it. Cole, let's get into some audio here for you. This ought to make you feel a little bit better. We did play it earlier in the show as part of our Daily Wires, but here is your head football coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Brian Schottenheimer, feeling pretty good about the prospect of having Micah Parsons on the field for week 1 versus Philly.
At the end of the day, we feel like Mike is going to be out there when we can line up against Philadelphia here in 15 days or whatever it is. And, so no, answer is, I feel good about that. Yeah.
Without a contract extension?
I feel good that Mike is going to be out there against the Philadelphia Eagles.
What does he know that we don't know?
Well, he has a good relationship, number one, with Micah. I do know that. And those two have hit it off since Shotty was hired. So I think that does help. But the very first thing he said, Diesel, was we feel like. I mean, we feel like a lot of things. I feel like right now I could probably go outside and, run to that Oriental House sign and back without throwing up, but I probably couldn't. I mean, we feel a lot of things, Coach, but is it actually going to happen? I don't know. I just don't have a lot of faith in that whole situation right now.
Cole, have you seen the press conference of Chicago Bears backup quarterback Tyson Bagent or Bagent? Not really sure how it's pronounced. Finding out that he has got a contract extension. Here's this audio, and man, I tell you what, it's gonna bring a tear to your eye.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't know this, but my dad is he's my right hand man, and he didn't even have running water until he was in high school. So there's definitely a lot of things and people that I think I could certainly help with this gift I've been blessed with. But yeah, just little things like that. Like, I don't really know anybody back at home with any money, so. Yeah, it feels good. I mean, it's certainly a weight off my shoulders and my family's shoulders, and yeah, it definitely means a lot.
That's pretty cool.
I could ask you to guess where Tyson Bagent went to college, but you'd never guess because I've literally never heard of this school before.
No, then I'm not going to guess. What is it?
It's Shepherd College or Shepherd University, and it's in Shepherdstown, West Virginia.
Yeah, never heard of it. That's awesome, though, man. I love that. Like a guy gets it, right? And it's not the contract a lot of these players have, but it's life-changing money to him, man. And that's awesome to hear. I love that.
Here's Von Miller, who's currently with the Commanders, kind of getting into that GOAT debate. Is it Brady or is it someone else? Here's what Von Miller had to say.
Obviously it's going to be a debate between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, who's the best. For me, it'll always be Peyton Manning. He changed the quarterback position from take it. You know this more than me. You're the quarterback. From take it, change the play, come on, check the play, change the play again, go over top. He wasn't scrambling or doing none of that stuff. He did it all with his arm, and it was beautiful, man. And people say these guys are humble, but, like, bro, he's so humble. He knew every single guy in the facility, whether it's the janitors, all the coaches. He had a personal relationship with everybody. He was the first person, and truly the first person in the building. Whenever you pulled up, you'll see his Buick because he drove a Buick because he had the Buick deal. I had a fundraiser event for Von's Vision. He was there, man. He was all about his guys, all about his teammates.
He loves him some Peyton Manning.
Well, he played with him in Denver, won a Super Bowl there. Doesn't surprise me, but I will say I just I don't know. Is he Tom? No, he's not. And Tom's not Peyton. I mean, there were things that Peyton could do in his prime that Tom couldn't do, but those rings, man, they stack up, and Tom certainly got plenty of them, right?
This might be the funniest question I've ever heard somebody ask an NFL player who just got themselves in some trouble. A reporter had the gabagools to ask Myles Garrett what it feels like to go 100.
What is it like to be in that car and seeing that speedometer creep up toward 100?
I'd honestly rather talk about football in this team than back to school. Event that I did the other day.
But still, I mean, people want to know about that.
He doubled down.
People want to know.
He doubled down on it, didn't he?
God.
So let me ask you this: you're telling me that reporter's never going 100 miles an hour?
Probably can't. He probably doesn't have a fast enough car.
I
didn't know Toyota Tercels could do 100.
Hadn't most people though going 100? Like 99% of people, you think?
I got one more for you here, Cole. This is play-by-play from yesterday's Chicago Cubs game, where the color analyst ended up having to shell out a lot of cash for a prediction that he made.
Mentioned somewhat flippantly yesterday that I feel like at least once a game when Contreras hits a ground ball to shortstop, this would be an ideal time for that to happen.
If he hits a ground ball to short, start the 6-4-3. Will you buy Motzi sticks for everybody at the corner tavern?
Absolutely.
Right. We don't know if they have mozzarella sticks at the quarter tavern. The 1-1 outside. Frelick at second, Collins at first, one out. 3-1 Cubs. On the
Come on,
ground.
baby.
Let's go!
Mozzarella sticks for everybody.
What a great
Bro, meet up.
What a great call right there.
At least once a game, he's good for a ground ball up the middle. If he does it, would you buy Motzi sticks for everybody?
That's
and then he does it.
incredible, man. I love that. I really do. I want to dive back into that conversation with Micah. Dallas, when we see him, is it better for Micah just to not play this season? We'll dive back into that conversation next.
Tolos, if you have a car payment, I'd be willing to bet that 100% of you would say that you feel like you're spending too much on your car payment. Well, my friends over at MTC
We've got Clay Hendricks, the head football coach of the Furman Paladins, coming up on the show in about 15 minutes. If you're a Furman Paladin fan, our weekly hit on Thursdays in the 6 o'clock hour begins today with the head ball coach, Clay Hendricks. So make sure you tell your friends, your family that might be Furman fans out there to turn it on and leave it on, but especially in the very next segment. So you played audio, Diesel, of Brian Schottenheimer, and he says, I feel good that Mike is going to be out there against the Philadelphia Eagles. So here we are today, by the way, is August 21st. Why is that significant? We are exactly 2 weeks away from the first NFL game, Cowboys-Eagles, in Philadelphia. And the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons do not appear to be any closer in a contract extension than they were at the start of training camp. But, and this is a big, big but, Brian Schottenheimer is confident, and you heard that audio, that Micah, will be available. Again, the quote, I think at the end of the day, we feel like Micah is going to be out there when we line up against Philadelphia here in 15 days or whatever it is, Schottenheimer said before Wednesday's practice. A reporter came back and said, is that with or without an extension? Schotty said, I feel good that Micah's going to be out there against the Eagles. So, Diesel, if Brian Schottenheimer, who has a very good relationship with Micah Parsons, feels good about Micah being out there, which is a good sign, I believe, for Cowboys fans, does that mean in the next 14 days, Micah gets an extension? That's A. Or B, you're telling me Micah just all of a sudden plays even though he's been holding out for the past, few months? A or B, which are you choosing there?
Do I think Micah will suddenly say, you know what? I don't need a new contract. You know what? I'm going to just let all the water go under the bridge. No, I don't think that's going to happen.
So you would think that he's going to get a new contract then, right?
Either that or he's going to sit out.
Well, I'm saying if like Shotty says, if he does play, one of the two things has to happen. He either gets a new contract or he just decides, hey, I'm fine, I'll play. If he plays, one of those two things has to happen. So, look, my whole thing is, if he plays, that's great. However, we're 14 days away from that game. My only thing is he's been sitting out, and he hadn't been practicing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine, and again, I'm not a football expert when it comes to how much these guys have to be in physical activity to get themselves in football shape. But if he's out, if he's not practicing, I would imagine that him cold turkey all of a sudden deciding the week of the game, I'll play, suiting up, running out there and playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. I would imagine that that's probably not a great idea. Cold turkey going into Thursday's game in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's been up to. I don't know if he's been practicing on his own. I don't know if he's got a bunch of his boys that he played college ball with or whatever, that he's out there working out on his own, but it's not the same. It can't be the same. You can't get the exact same experience. You need these preseason reps, and man, that puts you behind the eight ball, puts you in a tough spot. I mean, I know these guys probably all think themselves invincible and think there's no way that my skills are going to diminish. My skills are not going anywhere, but they will.
Parsons, by the way, is set to make $21.3 million this season on the fifth-year option. I don't know if a franchise tag is likely. After this week and once the 53-man roster is finalized, the Cowboys have scheduled just a handful of practices to focus completely on Philadelphia. So, like we talked about, practice is important. But Brian Schottenheimer said, Micah's another guy. He takes great care of his body. Again, you'd like it sooner rather than later, but Micah's going to be prepared. I go back to the thing that each situation is different. Micah knows his body as well as anybody. The best thing of him being here is that he has been able to do some of the walkthroughs. He has been in the meetings. He understands some of the calls and different packages and stuff that we're going to use, and that is a huge advantage. So while there is a lot of question around what's going to happen with Micah and getting traded, and reports a couple of days ago about all signs are pointing towards this becoming a divorce between Micah Parsons and the Cowboys. For what it's worth, 2025 season, he might not have too much of a choice. By the way, I think one thing we all forget in this is he is under contract. I mean,
contracts, I guess, matter in the NFL. Do they? Don't they? I mean, if you're under contract, do you have to play? It would say on that paper that you're supposed to. When we come back, Cole, let's get our first real look at the 2025 Furman Paladins. This week, we're gonna have a coach on at 6:00. Most weeks, you're gonna hear Coach Clay Hendricks join us at 6:22. But coming up next on the other side of the break, Clay Hendricks, head football coach for Furman on the Fan Upstate. Well, it's not really football season until we get a chance to talk to the head football coach of the Furman Paladins, Clay Hendricks, entering another awesome season here in the upstate of South Carolina. Got a big game against Clemson coming up late in the season. They will kick things off, well, in just about a week against William and Mary. Coach, good to have you on the phone. Good to talk to you again. It's been a little while. How's the offseason treated you?
Off-season's been good. The off seasons, I guess the older I get, the faster they go. But it's hard to believe we're back at it, almost a week from kicking it off again. But we've had a good, productive off season, good August, and we're not quite ready to play, but we're close.
Coach, it's Cole here. Appreciate you hopping on with us. We were talking to Dan Scott last week, I believe, about this year's team in 2025, and I found it really interesting. Dan was talking about the maturation of Trey Hedden, and I would like to hear from your perspective, being his head football coach. Trey Hedden obviously experienced some struggles a season ago in 2024. Obviously fans will look towards 2025 on the field results to see if this team, if Trey's gotten better, but not really on the field. What have you seen as the head coach off the field that really excites you about what Trey can do in 2025?
Well, obviously I think the natural maturation that takes place with just a guy getting a little older. You always want to have guys in your program who really care. Certainly there's the off-season on the field stuff you do. There's the weight room, spring practice meetings and such, it's kind of those guys that we say sometimes do more than is expected. And he's kind of one of those kinds of guys, whether it's on the field or off. He may be the guy I see around here more than anybody else, when it comes to meeting with Coach Roper, our quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, or, just in here watching tape. He just, I think he's a true student of the game. He got thrown in a tough situation a year ago, and but he responded just like you want one to respond. He's a talented guy, because I think that's where it starts. They need some talent. He's got that, and he's changed his body. I don't know if he's lost 20 pounds, but probably close to it. He's a big kid anyway. So had a good August. I'm excited to watch him go play.
Coach, obviously last season didn't go the way that you wanted it, but the 2023 campaign, really good. Obviously, we all know last year that was a real young football team. So how do you tell these guys that are on this 2025 squad, how do you impart it upon them that, hey, this Southern Conference is really gettable? Look what we did in 2023.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like in 2022 we might have even been better, and I thought we had really one of the best teams in the country and went deep in the playoffs both years. And, I knew, and, lost over 40 seniors, knew there were going to be a lot of challenges. I knew what the schedule was a year ago. And, probably didn't think at the time Trey would probably be the guy starting most of the year. But just really, really young, had a lot of injuries. And there were a lot of things we couldn't control, but the things we did do a very good job of, offensively. It was just probably turnovers, negative plays, which I think a lot of those could have been avoided. And then defensively, kind of the same way. You allow a few too many big plays, and the season gets away from you. And a ton of guys back. I think in 22 and 23. In 22, I think we played 3 freshmen. I think in 23 we played 2. Last year we played 17. So they're not freshmen anymore. So they've been through it. So really good group coming back. I think we got good competition. They're all better. I think we're better everywhere. I don't think it's even close. Now you got to be able to go carry that to the game. I think we have plugged in. We're not much of a transfer place. I think we've got 3 undergrad transfers on our whole team, which is probably the fewest anybody in America. We have plugged in, had a little more luck with some grad transfer guys to fill needs. And we feel like we've done that. So we feel like we made ourselves better in that regard. And again, just a much more confident, a lot of guys' bodies, have changed. And I think we got a good looking group. So we look better, which helps too. But I'm just hoping just the natural maturation that's taking place will make us better.
Coach, a season ago, 2024, you guys struggled at times to be consistent in the run game. You had a good running back, freshman all-conference, and Gavin Hall. Talk about what happens during the offseason with you, the coaching staff, Coach Corey Coulter, and when you have these new faces, a season ago we talked about the struggles that Furman had. How do you try to get this run game back on track in 2025?
Well, I think that, obviously it starts up front, and I spent most of my career coaching that group up there. So, but I actually think they were, I don't know, it was a little bit of a hard thing to figure. We had way too many negative plays, took sacks we probably should have never taken, probably threw it around a little bit too much. I think there was plenty of blame starting with me to spread around. I think the pieces are there. I think it starts at the quarterback position. I feel great about this offensive line group we've got. We have 4 starters back, and we've plugged in a couple of other guys. Most of all the backups from a year ago who were true freshmen return. I think we have 2 dynamic tight ends. One of them we lost play 4 of game 2 last year. The other was a true freshman. And I think the receiving core maybe as talented as one as we've had since I've been around here. I think we just have a lot more speed than I remember us having. So, again, I think the pieces are there, but it's just a matter of, for us, it's creating an identity. I don't think we ever had an identity a year ago because, you'd like to hang your hat on something. We really didn't hang our hat on anything. And then I think just, the word for the August has been execution. Can we execute at a high level, both in the run game and the throw game? I do think we can be a team that you don't have to deal with both phases of it. And so that's kind of what we've hung our hat on this August.
Coach, you just mentioned identity. Do you feel like that identity each team, each year starts up front?
Yeah, I think it does. I think I've always thought when the leaders of your team, particularly offensive team with those guys up front, then everything I've ever been a part of. This is year 40 for me doing this as a coach, and when I look back at it, I think, it's that way, and I think that's a bit where we are right now offensively. So I really like that group. I think there's got 3 fifth-year guys, a fourth-year guy. So it went from being young and a little beat up to now much older. I said all along I thought we've recruited well. We got a lot younger a year ago than I wanted to be. We've historically been a program that we're a developmental program. I've always said we are better teams when we've had older football teams. And there was no way we were going to be older a year ago. But certainly if we'd just done a few things better, we could have changed the dynamics of the season. I'm not sure how many more games we would have won, but certainly we left some out there that we could have won.
Coach, the transfer portal is what the transfer portal is, and for a lot of schools, it's more exit than incoming. And you and I, and we've talked about it quite a bit. The academic requirements to get into Furman makes it more challenging to get guys to come into Furman. But if a guy comes to you and says, "Hey, Coach, I'm thinking about trying my ways up at a G5 school or something like that," what's your pitch to try to keep a guy like that around?
Well, we're not immune to it. Certainly, we have not lost. We haven't lost many kids. It's kind of forever changing. I think for us, it's got to always start at the initial recruiting. Who are we recruiting? We're recruiting guys that fit here, who value being here. I think they value the education. I think there's still a lot to be said for that. So if we get those guys, they get a little more invested. I think they do like their teammates. I think they love our culture, which is, I think still matters to the right kid and the right family. Really we've had we lost 2 kids off the 23 team that both graduated, and grad transferred. And, those are the guys really, one of them we really didn't have a way to keep him here from a major standpoint. Well, what did they do? They both got drafted. June Ashby went to Vanderbilt as a long snapper and got drafted. First guy since, 20 years to be drafted as a long snapper. And, and Micah Robinson was a guy who went to Tulane and got drafted by the Packers. So we've had some really good players. So I don't know. I think each case is a little different depending on what it is they're looking for. I think usually my first question is, what are you looking for? What are you truly wanting to do? And the other thing that's been kind of interesting to me is how easily other places make it to transfer kids in. You see these kids have been to 3 and 4 schools, and somehow they get a degree from one of them. I don't know how you can do that, but I know it's a little more challenging even to transfer a kid in here because of transferable credits. But again, I think it's just trying to find out what's important to him and keeping the relationship. I think our coaches do a good job relationship-wise with our kids. And again, it's just what's important to them, and you'd like to kind of address a lot of that on the front end.
Coach, a season ago, you returned your top 3 returners at the wide receiver position, including Josh Harris. Talk about what that position group looks like. It's deep. I mean, on paper it is in 2025. You've got 15-plus guys in the wide receiver room. But talk about what kind of confidence you have in that room going into this season.
Well, I think that group kind of maybe has me more excited just because there's more of those guys, more playmakers, more the ability to stretch the field. We had some guys returning a year ago. I'm not sure we have a lot of true playmakers. And I think, you look at the group now, we've got some length, we've got some speed. Devin Hester was a young guy that was, got forced into playing as a true freshman a year ago. And he's totally a different guy. We got a kid, Kerry King, who actually is a grad transfer from East Carolina that had played for our receiver coach at East Carolina when he was there. I don't know, arguably maybe the fastest guy on our team. Ethan Harris now has been in our program 4 years. Jakeith Hamilton's now a guy, I guess, is year 3 in our program. We got a freshman we're really excited about, a kid named Evan James down in Central Florida. And there's just a lot of those guys. I think you get down to, I think you make plays that, give you the ability to get the ball to them in space, and they can do something with it. It's been a while since we've had some guys like that, at least in the years that I've been here. I was gone for about 10 years in there, but we've had a history of good players there, but they've been maybe a little more sporadic. Maybe this is the best collection of guys we've had.
Coach, you look at the William and Mary tribe from last year, and they had a pretty good year up and down. They could score some points. Where are you at in your week 1 prep against William and Mary? What do you see about them that is going to put up some challenges?
Yeah, we kind of rolled. I mean, obviously you're looking at people like that year round, but we rolled a couple of days ago kind of into more just, game prep type mode, and we'll go tomorrow and then really get into it on Sunday. But, they were a really, really veteran team, kind of polar opposite of us a year ago. I think the quarterback maybe was a 5th-year kid, really athletic kid who hurt it. He got loose a couple of times and we didn't get him on the ground. I think somebody told me, I don't know this, maybe every Russian yard in the game they had a year ago graduated. They had a bunch of rushing yards. Had an offensive tackle that was drafted. So had a veteran group, offensively and defensively. Have lost. Again, these days now, you get somebody's roster and you look at who they filled in with guys they picked up. They're a really, really good school. So I'm sure they have some of the same challenges we have, but I know they filled in with some transfer kids. But certainly, we were a bunch of puppies, I felt like, a year ago going up there. And, it's a 3-point game with a minute to go in the game. And we had all kinds of opportunities to get it done and just didn't get it done. So, I don't know, it should be really a heck of a matchup.
Coach, for those of us who will never get to experience having that headset on, walking out onto the field for the first time to start a season as a head coach, can you describe that feeling for us as you're standing there in the tunnel inside that big inflatable Furman football helmet, getting ready to come out onto the field?
I think once you get to the game, sometimes it's almost a relief, because all the work that goes in during the week. The game, there's only going to be so many plays. I think for me, I don't call the plays. I try to stay a little more in tune to to, I don't know, maybe anticipating the things that are going to happen in the game, decisions, fourth downs, those type things. Giving the guy a heads up about going for it, on the fourth. Some certainty, some things we do in the special team. So I don't know. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I still enjoy it. I still, we still get the butterflies. I think if that goes away, you probably need to quit. And I still get those. And that's a fun part of it. I still enjoy the competition. I enjoy the X and O part. I enjoy making the adjustments, sometimes that you have to make. But it's always fun. Everybody's undefeated.
Yeah.
Everybody will be undefeated in that first tunnel, for the whole year, and then it starts changing a little bit. But I'm excited about it.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you. You're the best, and we'll talk to you next week. Good luck.
Thank you. It's always great being with you guys.
Absolutely. Coach Clay Hendricks, the head football coach of the Furman Paladins. He is fantastic. Be safe out there, Tolos, depending on where you are. Dewey let us know that in Five Forks is pretty bad. We looked out the window during that interview, and I was like, is that a movie happening out there?
Is this the opening scene to Wizard of Oz? What's going on?
What's that on Twisters? That is
Which one, the new one or the old one?
I hadn't seen the new one.
Good. Don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad. It's just it's a remake of the first.
It looks rough out there.
You can't mess with Bill Paxton.
Yeah. So Tolos, let us know. Be careful. Be safe. Hopefully this stuff gets out of here. You know how these summertime afternoon showers or pop-up thunderstorms are. And hopefully it's out of here by tomorrow. High school football season week 0 happening tomorrow on the show. Big news, though, Diesel. Previewing tomorrow, of course, we'll start our 4 p.m. weekly interview with Smitty, a Sports Talk Media Network. But we got a press release today. And our good friend, Gary Stoken, who we've had on, he is the CEO of Peach Bowl Incorporated, right? We talked to him, last month at ACC kickoff. He's retiring.
Oh, Gary.
Yeah, he's retiring.
You can't give us one more year? Come on.
So he's retiring, and his Trevor, his assistant, one of his assistants, asked if anybody wanted them on to preview, next weekend's games, including Aflac and things like that, and having them on one more time. So we will have Gary Stoken on the show tomorrow at 3:22. So hopefully it's not the last time we'll ever talk to Gary, but Gary is retiring. Good friend of the show. Shane Diesel says it's monsooning in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, man.
That is, by the way, Alabama. Shane Barrett is toloing from Alabama.
There you go.
You can't beat that, man.
That's stay safe down there, Shane, would you?
Diesel, earlier in the show today, you and I had a fantastic conversation with Chapel Fowler. It's our States segment. Every Thursday, we'll be joined by either Chapel or Jordan K. Chapel covers Clemson. Jordan K. covers South Carolina. This week, it was Chapel Fowler. In case you missed that interview with Chapel, we'll have it for you next right here on the Fan Upstate.